All right. All right. Peace and shalom, family. What's going on? It's your brother DivineProspect, Kingdom Harbinger Ministries. I'm actually live streaming this session with my Razer Keo Pro and my Razer Siren Mini. That's what this is. So this is not my usual equipment, which is typically my Sony ZV-1 camcorder and my my Wave 3, Elgato Wave 3 mic. I'm going to be switching from my Sony ZV-1 to a face cam by Elgato, and I'm going to test that out because it's just more convenient having that set here as a recording device as opposed to having to swap my camera out, right? It's really inconvenient to keep doing that. So I just want to do a test with this setup just to see how it comes out, especially the mic. I need y'all to chime in. Let me know if the audio and video is good. Let me know if the audio and video is good. And if anything, you know, I know this camera requires a firmware update to kind of fix the autofocus because there was some issues with that. I might just turn it off real quick. Maybe that'll be better if I just turn the autofocus off. So give me a second. Let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back with y'all. Okay. So I think it should be good now. And we just took the autofocus off because it was really just acting really crazy. So all right, so we're back in business, man. What's going on, fam? What's going on? I'm gonna go ahead and share this share this video real quick in a couple of places. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna buy some time for y'all to come on in. All right, come on in. Let me do this real quick. All right. All right, so come on in, get comfy. You know how we do over here. Right. So again, y'all said you can hear me clearly. I want to make sure there's no static, there's no distortion or anything like that in the audio. Just confirm that for me. Let me know everything is working okay, family. Let me know everything's working okay. I see the brother just asked me about the Mormons. Well, no, Mormons never followed back up with me. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna try to reach out to them again over the weekend and see if they can reschedule something for Tuesday and try to get them on camera with our dialogue on Tuesday and see what happens. But I mean, I don't know. It happened the same time when I had the Jehovah's Witness, when they were supposed to schedule an appointment with me. They had asked me, hey, what's your name? So, you know, I gave them my name, and I guess they may have looked me up or something, and they just didn't show up. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I have no clue what it is, but hopefully they did not look me up because I don't want them to know anything about me. I just want to have a layman conversation about the Book of Mormon, the Pearl of Great Price, Doctrines and Covenants, and all the articles being produced by Brigham Young University, because I got tons of them. I actually referenced one of them in one of my lectures, you know. So I want to kind of build on that and see what they say. You know what I'm saying? right, family, come on in. Come on in. Make sure you guys share this video. Share this video as you're watching it. If you enjoy it, hit the thumbs up button. All right, let me know. I'm going to just drop it in a few places real quick, and I will be right with y'all. So just give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Come on in. Make yourselves comfortable. You never know what's going to go down on Freestyle Friday, man. Never know what's going to go down on Freestyle Friday. Last Friday was very, very interesting, man. Very interesting, to say the least. I enjoyed it. You know, hopefully y'all enjoyed it too and learned from it. Let me do that one. Let's see. Okay. All right. I know a lot of y'all saying, Divine, where you at? Where you been? Yes. We have more content coming up. I actually been speaking to a few brothers to assist me with some videography and video editing. I just finished speaking to a brother earlier today that said that he wanted to assist with that, which was cool. Because there's a lot of series I want to put out, but I don't trust myself to edit the video properly and add all the after effects to make it compelling enough the way I envision it. So I'm just seeing who has the skills and capabilities that I can pay to do it for me. So also, I mean, anybody out there that is still, you know, has graphic artist skills or animation skills or video editing skills, let me know. I'm trying to create a team. So far, I got 4 different brothers, you know, that have volunteered to assist. But if anybody out there, anybody you know wants some work, wants to get paid for assisting, you know, we have a budget set aside for that. So, I mean, just let me know. You know what I'm saying? Just let me know. Okay, I'm almost done. Let's see. Let's see. I think I'll probably stop there. I can't find the other one I was looking for. Let's see. All right, there we go. All right, let's get busy. All right, so if at any time you see any artifacting, any glitching, any freezing up in regards to the audio, video, let me know. If you hear the audio coming out staticky or distorted, let me know. All right, so if you're saying it's good, that's cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give a couple of shout outs. Let's see who's in here today. And again, this is a webcam and I'm working for right now. So again, the quality is not going to be as sharp as my dedicated camcorder. I was just running this test because I wanted to see how this equipment worked on this new computer I had. I got this computer back in April, I believe. So I never had this setup before. I'm just testing it before I use it on other setups. All right. So just let me know if the audio and video is okay. So far, y'all saying is good. So I'm trusting what y'all saying. All right. So shout out to John and Dorsey. Shalom. Roland R. Walker. Shalom. Dina Charles. Shalom. Jacolia's Gems. Shalom. Lifted. Shalom. Moshe the Hebrew. Shalom. Jack L. Black. Shalom. Elijah. Yisrael. Shalom. Gatriel McKinney. Shalom. Sister E in the building. Shalom. Sister E. My brother Emmanuel in the building. Shalom. 617. Let's get it. U Taylor 777, Shalom. Lisa Anderson, Shalom. Jetson Silencio, Shalom. Let's see, Scott Garrett Headley, Shalom. Natural Beginnings, the Isha in the building, Shalom. 876 Benjamin, Yisrael, Shalom. Sister V Love, that's awesome, sis. It's good to know. Shalom. K Yisrael, Shalom. Lifted says, Brother Divine, that Clubhouse was something. What was that verse you have brought up that mentioned born again in the OT? All right. I'm gonna get to that. Shout out to Lifted in the building. You know, follow me along in there. My brother, support Buying Black. Yes, I had to follow up with you, brother, for the internet marketing. Trust me, I have a lot of stuff on my plate I'm trying to catch up on because I picked up some new work contracts. So, but I'm gonna get to it soon, my brother, because I'm building a team and you're part of that team. All right. So I'm trying to interview each individual member before I put all y'all together. All right. Shout out to Sister Jaslyn Berry in the building. Eloc 2020. Shalom. I am Sister Hadashah. Shalom. Let's see who else we have in the building. 916 Shan, shalom, sis. Shalom, what's going on? Navi Yaya Sha'al, shalom, sis. Top Flight Mixed Martial Arts in the building, shalom. New Hope Family Investments, LLC, shalom. I have college certification in graphic design and web development. Okay. All right, my brother. So just email me, just email me, kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. Like I said, we got money set aside for this. So, just send me, some of your resume, let me get a resume to see what you've done. Send me some samples of your portfolio so I can take a look at it, and we'll go from there. All right. Shout out to Joshua Armstrong in the building. Jay Lockhart 25. Shalom. Tony Lysite. Shalom. Aseed Brooks. Shalom. D. Glenn Royale in the building. Shalom. Randall Hall the second. Shalom. My brother Stacks 2296. Let's get it. Ak Malak. Shalom. Thanks, Ak. Thank you. Definitely send them this way. The email is scrolling down at the bottom. All right. Let's see who else we got in here. Coy Walker, shalom. Janae, shalom. Deborah Newsom, shalom. All right, hold on 1 second, family. I get right with you. Give me 1 second. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me make sure we good. All right, I think we're still good. All right, sorry about that, family. All right, so where we at? Shout out to Andre Brown in the building. Angie, love ya, shalom. Josh M, shalom. What's going on? Torio, hashtag the most high, shalom. Cam 2 player, shalom. All right, family. All right, let's go. Howard Seraphine in the building. Kelvin Jones. Shalom. Mark Moore. Shalom. Shalom. Yesha Moore. Shalom. Travel Safe King. Let me see. Who else? If you want to shout out, hit 1. If you want to shout out, hit 1. Tawame Gaddy. Shalom. Denzel Banks. Shalom from Detroit in the building. D-Town. All right. Deborah Newsom. Shalom. I think that's everybody. Okay. All right. If anybody else wants to shout out, just hit 1. I'll make sure I get you. Just hit 1. I'll make sure I get you. Okay. All right. Yo, make sure you guys share this video. The mods are telling y'all, hit the thumbs up button if you're enjoying the content thus far. You're like, well, Divine, you even going yet? Well, you're about to see. I'm giving you a precursor. I typically work you up into it before we get towards it. That's just how we do over here. But nonetheless, we about to begin. Shout out to Sister Tiffany Smith in the building. Shalom. Mark Benjamin. Shalom. Shalom. All right. So first and foremost, what I want to say is thank you to everybody for joining in, tuning in right now to us live Friday evening. All right. And working with us as we're using some alternative streaming equipment. All right. So question is, where's Divine been? Well, I've been on Clubhouse. And the reason why I've been on Clubhouse is because I'm trying to carve a niche out in Clubhouse. When I first joined last week, I checked out some of the rooms. I was brand new to it because I had just found out last week that it was available for Android. I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? I found out it was available for Android. I said, okay, this is cool. So I jumped in and I listened into a couple of sessions and, it was all right. You know what I'm saying? Then I did my own, I set up my own, I guess they call it a channel or house because it has a house icon. I'm not sure what it's called, but you can create rooms within this domain. And I did a session last week. It was really good. It was about the cultural misappropriation of religion. And that was pretty good. And then from there, I did another room. I think it was the next day or 2 days after I did another room. And then I just joined a couple of rooms. I was in a room with Christians and going back and forth with them. And they dropped me to the audience and they booted me. Then I had another one. So I have a discussion with Elder Yosef. Me and him was going back and forth. And then he muted me. And that was the end of that. And then I followed up with him because I wanted to have a discussion / debate with him based on things we was talking about. That's neither here nor there. So today I was on a session earlier today. Yesterday I was supposed to have my own room session, but I got stuck in a previous room session, so I didn't get a chance to do my room session. But I've been on Clubhouse, man, and they gave an opportunity now for the back channel, which is like their DM. IM messaging service, which was cool. And then now they removed all of the private invites. Now anybody can sign up for it. So if you don't have the Clubhouse app, you need to get the Clubhouse app and you have to follow us on Clubhouse. Okay. I want to show y'all, if you haven't already seen, all right, what my channel is. I'm at DivineProspect on it. So look me up at DivineProspect, but I'm going to show you the room right now on my phone. Hopefully they'll be able to show you. All right, what you need to join. All right, here it is. This is what you need to join. Let me show you on the screen. If you can see it. There it is. See that? KHM Research Discussions. KHM Research Discussions, right? So you see that little house? That's why I said I think it's like a house thing. I'm not sure. So you want to join that, and then you want to follow me on there, okay? Damn, you want to follow me on there, okay? All right. There's been a lot of discussions going down, a lot of things I've been talking about. One thing that I've been adamant with doing is just simply teaching on there, sharing information, bringing people into the conversation through collaboration, and being able to put forth edification, education, encouragement, and equipment, equipping the people. So, anything that I touched on, I kind of broke it down and shared sources and taught people about methodology and everything, just to kind of build the niche there in Clubhouse, right? Because what we are offering to Clubhouse sorely lacked, right? So we're bringing a new vibe to Clubhouse, and it's been really good. It's been pretty good. The experience has been very good, whether it's good, bad, ugly, whatever. I think it's been very good. So I've been spending a little bit of time building my platform up there on Clubhouse to reach the people. So that's been pretty good. They just allowed an option for monetization, so we can receive, creators can receive donations on there as well, which I think was dope too, to give you an opportunity to kind of, if people want to give, they have the opportunity to do that as well. So I thought that was really tight. So that's where I've been at. I've been on Clubhouse and, building out Clubhouse, and it's been a very interesting experience. So if you don't have Clubhouse, you need to download it right now. Download it right now. Get it set up. You no longer have to wait for an invite, right? You can sign up. You may be put on a waiting list because from what I've researched, they're doing a staggered release of opening access up to new people who sign up. So you may want to just keep that in mind. All right. So if you are waiting, just give it another week or so, and they'll eventually get to you and bring you in. All right. Because we're doing a lot of dope things on Clubhouse. All right. So I want to share that. All right. All right, so the next thing that I want to touch is thank you to all of our KHM members who paid their membership dues. You allowed us to allocate capital to help out 3 members who are in need, and also capital for new projects that we have scheduled to get done. The calendar will be available this weekend. It was supposed to be available sooner. We spotted an error on it, so we made an adjustment last minute. I want to make sure everything is tight before I put it out. And the mixtape is also available. Again, these 2 projects that we put together to produce these final products would not have been possible if not for the dues from our members. So we appreciate the members for that. And also all of our members who completed their projects upon request. We have stipends available for them as a thank you, a token of our appreciation and thanks for assisting us in getting these products out the door. And now we have a couple of services that are sitting waiting as well to get done, and even some new t-shirts designs that we have coming for you guys that I know you guys will really enjoy, because eventually we're going to launch our clothing line as well, right? And also working on the music group, right? My music label. All right. So I want to say thank you to all our members. Thank you guys for your donations, your dues, for keeping us afloat. We greatly appreciate that. Now, as of recent, I've picked up an additional work contract. I'm an IT solutions engineer by trade. I picked up additional work contract, and I'm picking up a second work contract. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want there to be any financial deficits in KHM. I want to make sure that if we need to help somebody, that money will not be an issue. I want to know that if we want to start a project, that money will not be an issue. I want to know that if we want to go do this in the community, money will not be an issue. So I'm willing to make the sacrifice and work as much as I can to stack up as much money as I can, along with all the little side hustles and things that I have going on, in order for me to have the revenue to ensure that we can do whatever we need to do without having to ask anybody for anything outside of our community, right? We don't want to be dependent on any other third-party entity if we don't have to. And if we are seeking, let's say, contracts, work contracts, so we can be outsourced for social services, programs, etc., and or grants, it's because we already have something established, right? We don't want to go to them begging, pleading, and asking for something and sitting and waiting for them to give us something. We actually want to have something that is already in place, that has value, that has proven efficacy, that they will be willing to either outsource us for or give us the grant, so that way we have additional resources to do it. We also are looking to start employing part-time and full-time, right? But we can only do that once we get our services and programs up and running. And then once we can continue to offer even more products to the community, so we have revenue that's coming in that we can utilize it in order to pay brothers and sisters part-time and full-time, so they can do ministry 100%, right? Give it their all, and not have to worry about how can I take care of my livelihood, because some people, out of their time, sweat, tears, and energy, they pour into the ministry and they do what they can do. But I never want to feel like I am exhausting somebody of their time and their resources and their energy. So we always say, hey, is there anything we can do to help you? Anything we do for this? And that's the key thing. It has to be an even exchange. I know what it feels like to be part of a congregation in church setting and giving tithes, offerings, and everything else, and then my time on top of that. And then when I have a hardship, they say, go pray on it. It's like, wait, what? Pray on it? Man, I've been paying tithes here for the last couple of years, and I'm having a financial issue. You tell me to pray on it? That's nuts. But, that's just my experience. So I don't want anybody else to have to experience that in this walk. All right. This should be a set apart, distinct walk from everything we've done prior in the past. All right. So Sister Leslie Fields, please, I message you on Patreon. Please respond to that. I want to set up an appointment to speak with you. There's a sister that is in New York that I would like to connect you with, so that you can be a support system for her, you and your daughter Santua. If you guys don't mind doing ministry outside of the things that you're already helping with, I would love to outsource you guys to do that, to help this sister out. Really good sister. I want to make sure she has a support system. She just lost her mom, right? And she needs somebody local that she can talk to and build with and keep her encouraged, all right? Actually, the sister's right there, all right? The sister, her name is Yvette Rivera. Please, y'all, keep her in prayer. Very good sister. She's been consistent from day one since I've seen her and interact with her. So Leslie Fields and Yah Ansantawa, please, I want to give you her contact information so you can keep the sister in prayer. Sister Yvette, they're also in New York, okay? They're part of our New York chapter that has not been officially launched, by the way, but we do still have members. And, Leslie and her daughter Santua is the dynamic duo, man. They are just so awesome together. You know what I'm saying? So I know that if somebody needs something, I know that they'll be able to take care of it. All right. So Sister Yvette, I'm going to get you in touch with them and they'll be able to assist you and help you out. Okay. All right. So that's what I was saying as far as KHM. So thank you, everybody, for giving. Again, we have accumulated enough money to do a lot of things. We still need a little bit more. So that's why I want to be able to inject my own. I'm going to work a whole separate job and just give that whole paycheck to the ministry, right? I'm working a second job to give that whole paycheck to the ministry, right? So I'm going to match whatever the membership comes in. I'm going to match that. So we get $2,000 coming in, $3,000. I'm going to match that with $2,000 or $3,000 from that check. So whatever we got coming in, I'm going to match it. All right. So we have a whole surplus in the organization. Okay. All right. So shout out to my brother Ice You Cole, brother Desmond in the building. Shalom. Radiant One. Shalom in the building. Radiant One. We got your email. We will get that out to you ASAP. Okay. All right. Thank you all for the support to the sister, Yvette. Like I said, she's really good sister. She's been consistent, loyal, and she's been there since she found out about this ministry. So I want to make sure she has a support system. And anybody else, if anybody's suffering loss or grief, these are one of the groups that we have set up in the ministry to take care of that. Right. We have the wailing sisters that are there to support you in a time of loss and grief. Right. This is one of many groups that we've created in the ministry that we need more people to come and help with. Maybe you have been called to just be there as a form of encouragement for other sisters or brothers in the truth that may need help. Right. Whether it's healing, whether they need to cry, they need to vent, or whether there's a loss in the family. We got what I call Job's friends, and Job's friends, their presence was just there to sit with him and mourn with him. And then what they attempted to do was trying to help him figure out what's going on in his life. Right. So sometimes we need that. Some of y'all may be isolated in different areas of the world and may not have a support system, a congregation you can go through, or brother or sister you can call on the phone. But if you connect with us, we'll make sure that we connect you to where you need to be. All right. Shout out to the sister Lynette in the building. Shalom, sis. Mac, hashtag ADOS Lee. Shalom, shalom. All right. So again, if you guys need anything and we can help, shoot us an email. If we have not responded to your email yet, give us some time. Or if you don't want to wait, you can always call the hotline, schedule an appointment, and we can speak. But just remember, our what we have now is a 2-hour block. So if you schedule an appointment for 10, then you should receive a call from me from 10 to 12. And the reason for that is because I'm working a full-time job, a side job, doing ministry, and then I'm in the process of getting a second full-time job, right? So I just ask for y'all to bear with me. If I don't get to your appointment for whatever reason, then we will reschedule either later on that evening once I open up a gap in time when I have the bandwidth, and or even making the exception and doing it for y'all on the weekend, right? After the Sabbath or on a Sunday. All right. Shout out to Praise the Most High 7 in the building. Shalom. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here, sis. All right. All right. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Shout out to my KHM family. KHM all the way. It's a wrap. KHM team is fire, man. They everywhere, man. They everywhere. So I thank the Most High for loyal people and people committed to putting their hand to the plow and getting this work done in the community. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. Just give me some time. I got to see. I make some sacrifices to get some things the way it needs to be. All right. Also, last thing I want to say, anybody out there with any health ailments, okay, our naturopath to eating service is up and running. Okay. We have a great team behind it. Sister Megan, Sister Emmy, Sister Rhonda, and then our consultants that we have, they are now taking in anybody who has any increase in regards to health. So if you're interested, please email us at naturalpathtoeating@gmail.com. I'll put it right here in the chat. Okay. There it is. So if you or anybody you know has any health ailments and you want a free consultation, email us at naturopathtoeden@gmail.com. We provide free health and wellness consultation. You tell us what the ailment is, send us an email or a voicemail of what it is. We'll do an assessment. We'll reach back out to you with a consultation. After the consultation, if you need us to help you side by side, then we can set you at one of our regimens and ensure that we do check-ins with you monthly, as well as provide you a diet plan, a supplementation plan, and a moderate exercise plan. All right. These things intertwine. It's going to be the best bet that you have to fight any ailment or disease that you may possess. All right. And we do things by the book. All right. And then we have documentation via medical journals, scientific journals, research papers, etc., monographs, etc., to back up every suggestion that we give you. And then we have several books that we use from MDs and naturopathic doctors to do our assessment and analysis of your situation and be able to give you the recommended suggestions. Okay. All right. So that's what we're here for. Shout out to the sister, Souls of Our Ancestors. Thank you so much, sis, for your donation. I appreciate that. And I'm keeping you in my prayers as well, sis, for everything that you're going through. I pray that the Most High will give you a smooth transition. And our rally team also is there for you as well, sis. So you met several brothers and sisters there. Stay in touch with them. Those are good people. Shout out to Sister Karen. All right. Brother Mikhail. Those are our leads over our rally chapter. They're about to put in some crazy work out there, man. And I'm just brings a smile to my face to know that we're doing it. And you guys also saw our brother Jamal Sampson. He was on the show where he was demonstrating the Yaz Manna, the product, the tableware product that him and his wife have put together. He's over our KHM Los Angeles chapter. So if you're in LA or on the West Coast, you want to reach out to that brother and contact them. All right. So Elijah Israel, yes, if you need any assistance with asthma, we can help you with that too. F-Cribs, type 2 diabetes, we can handle that too. All right. Shout out to Andre Anderson. Thank you so much for the donation. He said, may Yah continue to bless you with the dew of heaven and the fatness of the land. And he put the gorilla. All praise to the Most High, man. Thank you, Andre. We appreciate that so much. But y'all, if you keep giving, the haters are going to get mad. The haters are going to get mad. Now, remember, family, I told y'all this Friday we're doing a giveaway. We're giving away 3 sets of tableware, children's tableware, to 3 people here. All right, 3 sets of tableware. And all of that was made possible due to the super chat donations we received on our show that we did on Tuesday. All right. So I'm saying this to y'all before we end off. 3 people are going to get free gifts. All right. Before the night is over. All right. And I want to thank everybody that continues to give in the super chat, because we find ways to take that super chat revenue and find ways to give it to people in need and or create opportunities so people can help themselves. All right. And again, if you have not seen the last video we did this Tuesday, go back and watch it. Please patronize Yaz Manna. This is tableware exclusively for children, made out of bamboo. It's biodegradable. All right. It's dishwasher friendly. All right. The food grade coloring on there. It has activity mats that you can draw and color in. All right. You can also get it with a book. It is phenomenal products, phenomenal products. The objective is to be able to teach our kids our culture based on visual representations that reflect them, because they can identify with it better that way. All right. And be something that they have to be proud of. All right. So just let us know. They also do bulk orders as well. So if you're doing homeschooling or you're at a private school or whatever the case may be, you can purchase these items for your homeschooling class or private school class or whatever the case may be. All right. So please, family, let's patronize our own, because this is something that was made in-house by us and something that we're also giving towards the community. We have to create this ecosystem for our children to get enveloped in and be encompassed by, so that way they understand what this Torah culture is and understand what is expected of them, carrying a torch, being the next generation. All right. Shout out to Sister Lizzie Liz in the building. Bruce Williams, shalom, shalom. Smooth Vessel in the building. Shabbat shalom to you as well, my brother. Shalom. All right, all right. Okay. So there's a lot of things I can teach on. What I want to do is, some of y'all probably are not following me on Clubhouse yet. I understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch on something that I brought out on Clubhouse, just so that y'all don't feel like y'all missing out on anything. And then I'm going to use it as an opportunity to teach. I know that there is some trolls that are always watching here. All right. And it's cool. Sandra Curry, you said the email address. And Sandra, we have to reschedule our appointment. But what I'm going to do is the matter in which we spoke about, which I'm not going to put it out publicly, but the matter which we spoke about, one of our consultants will be handling it. I'm in the process of getting everything finalized with them so they can start intaking, all right, clients, all right. And what me and you discuss is on the list for that, all right. But it is naturalpathtoeden@gmail.com. That's the email right there, Mother Curie, all right. And shout out to Mother Curie. Thank you so much for your support and your patronage. We truly appreciate you, all right. Shout out to my brother Yawasat, son of light, and Uriah, shalom, shalom to you as well. All right. Like my brother Stack says, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Do it. Shout out to my brother Stacks. KHM New York is in the building. We're not playing, man. We're not playing. KHM is everywhere, domestically and internationally. All right. So with that said, let me show you guys what we have new on the Patreon. So if you're not part of the Patreon, you are missing out. There's something new that I'm doing on the Patreon, and I have to add some more this weekend. And what I'm doing is I'm putting all of the data, primary data out in regards to the validation and authentication of Israelites in West Africa and Central Africa. I'm giving you primary sources for all of these things. And what we're going to do is I have an upcoming lecture, me and the brother Shema, he's not here, that we're doing where we're going to put this thing to rest. And don't forget, next year, we're traveling to Israel, Egypt, and several other African countries because we're going to do an investigation as part of a documentary to either prove or disprove whether or not that African Americans in America have a case of probability to lay claim to being descendant from the people of the book. This is going to be something that's going to cost a lot of money. So that's why we're getting things together in-house so we can be eligible for grants and use that grant money to put together this phenomenal documentary. It's something that nobody in our community has done before. We're going to be boots to the ground in different countries, getting different pieces of data and putting everything together for you, speaking to ethnologists, speaking to archaeologists, speaking to chief elders, all right, getting oral traditions. We're going to be going to universities in different regions. We're going to be going to villages. We're going to be doing everything we can. Now, this may not be completed, next year. I want it to be done by next year, but it's going to require a lot of money, a lot of traveling, a lot of time. But that's something that I want to do next year because I know all of the places that I need to go to extract information. I know people in a lot of these places, but I want to be boots to the ground. Now, we're working on going to London this year. When I go there, I'm going to the British Museum. I'm going to have an interview with the curator there. All right. And then also, I'm going to show you some things that are there that are typically overlooked at the British Museum. So shout out to my London KHM family. We got KHM London in the building. I see some of you already. KHM London is in the building. All right. We will be out there to officially set up our KHM London family. We'll be there at the British Museum. We will also be there at Speakers Corner, putting in that work. It's a wrap for London, man. That's all I got to say. It's a wrap for London. But in the interim, if you don't see me active on YouTube, fret not. You must follow me on all social media handles, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and now Clubhouse. All right. Also on the YouTube channel, there's a community tab. Always check the community tab for any updates that are there. We're still working on getting our Houston chapter launch event set up. We were supposed to do it this upcoming weekend, not this weekend, next weekend. However, the venues that we initially had, shout out to my brother Desmond in the building. He went and visited. We didn't really like the venues. The other options were too expensive. I mean, I don't know what's going on in Houston, man. Houston don't want to show love or bring us out there. If anybody who's in the Houston area, if you know about any venues, it don't have to be limited to a hotel, just any venues, our budget for the venue is $600 is our max budget for the venue. All right. We may go a little higher if they do catering, which most of them do. But let us know, right? If you know anything about any open venues out in Houston, we definitely need to know so we can put the wraps on it and we can touch down on Houston and make waves because we're waiting on Houston before we go to New York. We might pass over Houston and looking to do New York. I mean, I'm going to New York anyway next month. So we're going to see. I want to go to Houston and New York as the last two official chapter launches. And then we're going to work on London. All right. Shout out to my Toronto family. We got KHM Toronto in the building as well. KHM Toronto is in the building. We want to go there after London. All right, we're not playing internationally. The only thing I found out was that my peoples on the ground in Toronto said Toronto's pretty locked down because of COVID and everything like that. The Delta variant. Again, I was supposed to do a lecture on that. I kind of backed off because things started to lighten up and everything. But now they're about to lock things down again because of this Delta variant. And they said those people who are not vaccinated, you're becoming a threat to everybody. Well, if you're vaccinated and I'm not vaccinated, why are you worried about what I got? If I get it and I survive it, so what? You're vaccinated. So what does it matter? Speaking hypothetically, why you're worried about the unvaccinated? The unvaccinated, just let them die off. If you don't care, you want to usher in population control, let the virus kill off those who are unvaccinated and let the vaccinated live on if that is your goal, right? To induce herd immunity. But I digress. There's so much stuff that's come out. I posted some stuff on my social media handles, but like I said, if you don't see any updates here on the YouTube channel, fret not. Follow me on those social media handles, and you must get on Clubhouse. I have been active on Clubhouse the past week and some change. I've done at least 20 sessions on there. I joined 20 sessions on there, and I set up at least 4 sessions of my own. You got to join Clubhouse, okay? But we will be back producing more content on this channel. I have not forgotten about my YouTube family, because if it's not for y'all, none of this will be possible. So shout out to the YouTube family. YT family is in the building, all right? Leslie Field says, Devon, do you know when you're coming to New York? It will be in late August. And then I plan to return again in late September. All right. But the late September one has nothing to do with a chapter launch. That's a personal visit. But the one in August is a chapter visit. All right. All right. So Devon on Clubhouse causing problems. Man, I'm not causing no problems. I'm just setting the standard. You know what I mean? Like, you know, people are not really teaching or bringing anything worthwhile to listen to on there. And this is not for all the rooms I've been in. Some of them have been pretty great, but the majority of them has been very weak and bland and argumentative and back and forth. It's just not edifying. So we created a space, an environment where people can be edified in. All right. And that's the objective. Shout out to Trocon, Do You Jr. in the building. Shalom. My sister Nisi's Pieces. Shalom. And sister Nisi's Pieces. I seen that she was in the room last night. Man, sister Nisi's, tell us how deep we was going in that room last night, man. All right. Jacolia's Gem, sister Jacolia Gem says, nothing for Chicago, sis. You know Chicago's on the list. All right. I just don't want to go to Chicago in the late fall and winter. It's too cold. You're called the Windy City for a reason. So we have Chicago and Detroit for early spring next year. Late March, we plan to do Detroit and Chicago, March, April. All right. So, but yeah, I'm only if I go to another city this fall, it's going to be a warm city. Okay. I cannot go to Chicago in the late fall or winter. Okay. Just like I don't want to go to New York in the late fall, winter. I've done it for 30 years and I don't want to go back to that. All right. Sister Nisi's Pieces says deeper than Atlantis. Yeah, we was turning up on there, man. The fall isn't cold. Sis, I've been to Chicago twice. I went one time in the fall and I went one time in the spring, late spring, before my birthday, which is in June. And it was cool when I went in the spring. In the fall, it was chilly and windy. All right. I remember that vividly. This is probably like 9 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So lifted. All right, cool. Bay Area. Now, I was invited last year to speak in Sacramento, but I have not heard back from those individuals. Right. So I wanted to go to Sacktown and set up shop there and go visit the Bay Area, but I haven't heard back from, the sister and in the congregation or the group of families that was asking for me to come there and everything. So I don't know if the sister's watching this. Let me know if you want me to still come back to Sacktown in the Bay Area. I'd be more than happy to do that. Mac hashtag 80 said Las Vegas. Listen, we willing to set up a chapter anywhere if there's a minimum of 10 people. If there's at least 10 people in your city that is interested in the things that we want to do at KHM. And if you don't know what that is, go back and check out our chapter launch event videos. Check out our chapter launch event videos. Watch all of them and you'll see what we're about and what we want to do for your city with your help. All right. So again, if you can get them, let me know. All right. So Emmanuel, yes, I know you was jet lagged, my brother. My brother Emmanuel just came back from Nigeria. Shout out to my brother Emmanuel. Me and him are working on a project to do an event soon. I'm not going to say nothing about it till he gives me the green light to publicize it, if that's what he chooses. But shout out to my brother Emmanuel, because he's heavy in Clubhouse too, putting in that work. I see you, my brother. I see you. All right. Shout out to my brother Kenneth Gardner. He says he's trying to get back to the truth and live the way Yah wants me. What is your advice? Kenneth, if you want to get back to this truth, my brother, you must understand the culture of the scriptures. And I'm going to give you an example of that in a few based on what I was sharing on Clubhouse. I was going in. We did a whole session on the New Testament, the book of Mark, going me and brother, shout out to my brother Pro Rizzo, going into the Greek heavy, going back into the Hebrew, getting into Koine Greek syntax and morphology and all of that, showing context and showing people that the dogma that they hold is not there in the text, and going into daimonion and all that other deep stuff. It was heavy, man. We don't play games. Then when I did that session, I was talking about goats and the symbolism of goats and how goats are not intrinsically evil, and understand goat attributes are now being ascribed to humans based on pastoralists observing them for X amount of time. Then I went in and explained why in the ancient world, while sons were prized, not that they were better than the daughters, but I explained because there was no police officers, no FBI, no military in ancient times, where Bedouins were traveling from place to place for pasture for their herds to graze. The more sons you had, the more security, protection, and warriors you had to protect everybody else, the elders, the women, and the children. So that's why it was important for you to have male children and or uncles and brothers and whatever the case may be, because if a group or a party decides to come and raid your camp, you can defend and protect it. Okay, this is cultural. There's a book called The Bedouin Culture in the Bible. I've referenced it a lot, and it goes into detail about this. And if y'all want me to pull it out, pull out the book and give you the reference, let me know, and I'll go ahead and show that to you. Okay. All right. Tawani Gaddy said, just follow on Clubhouse. Thank you so much, Tawani. You're going to learn so much. Again, family, I know y'all about to bust down my door and take me hostage, and y'all about to chain me to a desk and a chair and a room somewhere with a light on and say, Divine, you better teach that class. Yes, I know. Y'all saying, Divine, man, you've been promising this class for almost 7 months. Where's this class at? I know y'all want the class. I understand. Family, when it's fully baked, I will bring it out for you guys. Right now, it's half baked. When it's fully baked, I will bring it out. I promise you I will bring it out. And those of you who are on our Patreon will be the first ones to get a heads up when the classes are available. And if you pledge at $20 or more, you get free access to the class. If you are not on Patreon and you want to access the class, you still can. It's just an a la carte price of $40 in order for you to get what you get in the class. Now, what we provide you in the class is something that you would get in a seminary or even more in an institution somewhere, right? And again, I don't like to flaunt around my title, but I use it when necessary. So now with my title, I can authenticate that which I am teaching and sharing in this class when it comes up. All right. So we're going to have it in a format that's scholarly. All right. And the purpose of it, and people ask me all the time, Divine, why you got to get into the scholarship that heavy? Because it's an objective way to sort through all the presuppositions, dogmas, and doctrines out there and get an objective answer to my inquiries that I have in regards to my search, because we are fully disconnected from the culture of the past because we did not live during that time. And a lot of people, they eisegete the text. They read their interpretations from their contemporary understanding into the text to fill in the blanks and the areas which understanding culture can fill in. And that's what I was saying to the brother. Once you get enveloped into culture, you will not look at the scripture the same way ever again. A great resource for that is a book called The Cultural Background Study Bible. The Cultural Background Study Bible. Type that in Amazon. Everybody in here needs to buy that book. That's one of the required resources for our class. You must have that book, okay? And then all the other books we'll give to you in PDF format. And if you want to purchase them in physical, you can. Now, another source that I shared on the Clubhouse that I've mentioned sometime in the past is called, those of you who want to get into the language, right? One of the issues that people have in getting into biblical Hebrew and biblical Greek is that they don't understand English grammar in order to translate the various components of grammar and clauses in English and be able to relate them over to Hebrew and Greek. There's a book series called English Grammar to Ace Biblical Hebrew and English Grammar to Ace Biblical Greek. So my mods, go on Amazon, type this in, and put these links in the chat. So Aishuko, please grab the link on Amazon for the Cultural Background Study Bible and throw it in the chat. All right. Other mods, please, Stacks, go and look up English Grammar to Ace Biblical Hebrew. Grab that link, throw it in the chat. All right. So that if anybody's interested, they can get it. I teach all the time. My job is to provide you with the methodology, the tools, and the resources in order for you to study for yourself, okay? For you to fact check these mores out here, even divine. What I've done has been so effective that I've had people come and check me on the low. Hey, Divine, you said this, you said that, but I researched it based on what you gave me. I said, you know what, brother, you're right. Thank you for that. A great teacher teaches his students to teach him. If you're not producing teachers to teach you, you're failing the people. And I constantly get leaders that don't like the fact that I teach people how to learn for themselves. They don't like that. But it's okay. They'll be all right. They just need to step their game up. I said, look, why do you feel bad? Do you think you'll be obsolete as a teacher when the people learn to teach for themselves? No, no, no. They'll continue to come to you because you're a source that is helping them to learn on their own. If the Most High puts you in that's your calling, your purpose, then you will never be usurped if he put you there. But if he didn't put you there and you're trying to get control, then you're right. He's going to loosen that grip because you got people like me that's going to teach the people how to fact check you. So to all the mores out there, shalom to your peace of my mores. And again, I'm not telling anybody to undermine the authority of the more that is presiding over your congregation. I'm not saying that. However, mores also need to be held to a standard to ensure that the information that they're disseminating is authentic and can be validated outside of them. Okay. All right. Shout out to Nakara in the building. Shalom. F Cribs. Shalom. Let me see. My brother Azariel. Shalom. Thank you for dropping that in the chat. Stacks. All right. Ice You Code. Did you drop it in there as well? Let me know if you dropped it in there as well. Anytime, y'all, what's up? I'm glad you got that book. All right. Let me see. I don't know. Shout out to Elo Fuego in the building. O'Shea White, Shalom King, Truth Seeker, I see you. Yason, I see you. Shalom. Rilo Brown, Shalom. All right. Let me see. You said, since the day of rest was made for man and not man for the day of rest, is it still Torah if we choose any day out of the week to be our rest day since all of Israel is scattered? No, we do not have the liberty to choose any day we want to be the Sabbath. It does not work that way. And the reason why it does not work that way, because scripture says so. Let me bring up the scripture for you. Let me bring it up for you. All right. Let's go to Shemot or Exodus chapter 31 and verse 13. All right, Exodus 31 and 13. Let's read that. All right, we're going to start at verse 12. All right, I'm going to show you why you can't just do the Sabbath on any day that you feel like it. All right, and again, it's not because I'm saying it. I'm just reading for you what the text says. All right, verse 12. Let me zoom in so y'all can see clearly. All right, you should be able to see clearly. Okay. All right. And the Most High said to Moses, you are to speak to the children of Israel and say, above all. Let me say it again. And the Most High said to Moshe, you are to speak to the people of Israel and say, above all. I didn't make this up. Above all, you shall keep my Sabbaths, for this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know. Without the Sabbath, you don't know who the Most High is, who is setting you apart. You don't know him. You shall keep the Sabbath because it is set apart for you. Everyone who profanes it shall be put to death. Whoever does any work on it, that soul shall be cut off among his people. Now, I did a Sabbath study with my family last Saturday. We went over the Hebrew. We parsed it. We read through the Hebrew. We parsed it out. And then what I normally do is I have them give me feedback and input of what they learned and what they discovered, etc. And one thing that stood out was the word profane and the word work. So the word profane is very interesting. Is what the root, what we call halal, and the word work is malakah. Interesting. What is profane? Profane is to treat something as ritually common. Your malakah work takes halakha to determine what that means. But if you go back to Exodus 16, we see that work was anything that you do for your sustenance, because they were given manna during the day and it was giving quail at night. There was no prohibitions against collecting quail at any day of the week. However, collecting the manna on the daylight portion of the seventh day was prohibited. So anything that you do that is designed to bring in sustenance for you is considered work on Malachi. If you go into the oral tradition that's preserved in the Talmud, there's more stipulations and various tractates on the Sabbath, all right, about different things that you can and can't do. All right, and also touched on this in a Clubhouse. Okay, so profane is to treat something ritually common. Oh, this is the Sabbath. This is the seventh day a week. It's not a big deal. It's like any other day. If you do that, you're profaning it, and you're supposed to be put to death. However, you're going to die spiritual death. That's how that works. However, if you know it's the Sabbath and you decide I'm just going to work anyway, now it's different. Now you cut off. That person needs to be isolated away from the rest of the body. Isolate them. Now, if you have to work, not because you choose to work on that day, because you really have no choice, you must put your job on notice that that is a day that you want to observe for your religious holiday, right? That you have every day of the week. You need a religious exemption, so you do not work on that day. You serve a notice to your job. If they say no, you have to work, you just work it, no problem, but you did put them on notice. So if you lose your job because of that, the Civil Rights Act of 1968, that you can appeal to, speak to a lawyer. I'm not telling you, I'm giving you legal advice here, even though I know the law, right? I'm pretty jurisprudent, but I'm saying seek aid from a civil rights attorney. But the bottom line, what I'm saying is, if it's a religious observance and your job rebelliously and just hard-headedly says, no, you got to work on that day, wait until you leave that job. Don't do it while you're working at that job. Just put them on notice. And then if you want to pursue it afterwards, it's on you. But pray to the Most High and say, yeah, I'm going to continue to be diligent and work this job until you create a new opportunity opening for me so I can reserve this day to you. I'm not telling nobody to quit your job on the Sabbath unless I'm able to employ you. If a brother and sister say, hey, you working on the Sabbath? Well, it says if you do work, you're just cut off from the people, from the rest of the body. You're just cut off until you get back on plan. But if you treat it as ritually common as any other day, now you're spiritually dead. That's how that works. So again, if anybody makes you feel bad because you have to work on the Sabbath, tell them, okay, I'll stop if you can employ me. You got a job ready for me? Oh, no, you don't? Okay, so let me work this out with me and the Most High, and I get back to y'all. You got to do what you got to do. I understand that. And the Most High understands that now we're in captivity. We're not in the land in our sovereign capacity, because if we was in the land in our sovereign capacity, nobody would work on the Sabbath, period. That's not the case right now. All right, so it says, 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, a Shabbaton. The on is a diminutive in the Hebrew, which means a minuscule or smaller version or more endearing version of something. And that Shabbaton within the seventh day of the week, which is called the Sabbath, is the daylight portion. I did several sessions on this, had several debates on this, and I stand firm on that. That is what the text teaches. And if you read Exodus 16, it asserts that and affirms it. It is set apart to the Most High. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day shall be what? To death. So now they followed it up to saying you will also be put to death. What does it mean in that sense? Well, this is called a doublet because we have something that already says if you profane it, you shall be put to death. And if you work, you should be cut off. Now we have a doublet there. This is why they say that there are different scribes in which the compilation of the text have been aggregated into. So we have a source and they've been put together by a compiler and then redacted so they can have a degree of cohesion. Pretty much to harmonize it was if you repeatedly decide to do work, and this is what's called the double emphasis. If you can repeatedly decide to do work, not only would be cut off, but you were also supposed to be put to death. So I can see, so okay, I'm gonna work on this day. I know it's the Sabbath, but I'm gonna cut off. You continuously do, you are to be destroyed, but you will be destroyed spiritually because there's nothing that can be assigned to show others that the Most High part unto himself. This is an everlasting covenant throughout your generations. It doesn't say only when you're in the land. It doesn't say that here. It doesn't say that here. Okay. All right, so let's get back to what we was trying to go at, but hopefully the person that was watching, I hope that was suffice for you and that helped. All right, shout out to Sister Millie Love in the building. Shalom. Sister Yvette Rivera, yes, we will keep you in prayer on that, sis. We got you. Shout out to my brother Raphael. Yeti Hebrew Dre in the building. Shalom. Laws of gardening. Want to debate, right? Okay. I want to debate you in a second. I need you to sit tight. Let us get through this portion of the show, and then I'll bring you on. You can air out your grievances and get this work. It's no problem. I'll be your employee for the evening. But just remember, the Surgeon General's warning, this smoke can be hazardous to your dogmatic disposition. All right. Okay. Hit the thumbs up button, family. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you everywhere. Brand new, hit subscribe. If you're enjoying the content thus far, tons of it in the archives on the channel. All right. Let's stay focused. Shout out to Desmond in the building. Shalom. All right. All right. So shout out to my brother Mattiyahu Ben Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom, King. What's going on? Soul Sister 416 is here with us. Shalom. Let's go. Families in the building. Community Brewers there. I see you as well. Black Ave is in the building. Sha'ab Ban Yashara'al. Torah Akkad. Shalom to you as well. I see you. We got the heavy hitters up in the building on today. Again, at any time, if the audio and video suffers a quality hit, please let me know in the chat. Shout out to Radiate One. I see you, sis. D Will, I see you. He says, of the version of the cultural background matter? No, whatever version you prefer. I got both the right. So it's total. So far, right? So I don't know what you're talking about. Law of gardening. I can bring you on. Please just remember, just glitching. I think it's just showing that signal is not the best right now. Let me see what's going on. Let me try to change it out real quick. Hold on. Let me see if this works, fam. All right, let me know if this is better. Let me know if this is better. Shout out to Zadok Israel in the building. Shalom. All right. So Mattiyahu Ben Yisrael, the new moon, which is the first day that brings in a month. If you want to keep it and celebrate on it and feast on it, you sure can. That was something that the Israelites did in the Iron Age while they were in the land. So that's something that you choose to do. You can. It is not required, right? Like the other feast days, but it is something that you can do if you choose to do. Shout out to Jedediah Ben Israel. Shalom, King. What's going on? I see you. Reckless Animosity. Shalom. Donnell Jones. Shalom. All right. Let me know. The audio video good. Let me know if the audio and video is good. You said the quality dropped. Let me check it out on my phone. Hold on. Let me jump off the network. Let's make sure. I want to make sure you guys see this in living color. Quality HD. All right. Let's see what's going on. Give me a second. Let me see. All right. Thank you so much, my brother Nathan James, for the donation. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Be careful, y'all. We're giving these donations. We got the haters in the building, like Law of Gardening. We got haters in the building that get mad every time you support this channel. But guess what? They here every night. The haters are more committed to the people that support this channel. Did y'all know that? Family, don't let the haters outdo you. The haters are here every night, staying up, waiting. They taking naps during the day, naps at work, naps after work, so they can stay up and be here. Shout out to the haters and the trolls in the building. Thank you so much for your support. You are adding to the numbers. I truly appreciate that. Even when you hit the thumbs down, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Law of Gardening, you are going to get this work. No problem. Just sit back and relax. I'm going to give you some time, my brother. You're going to get this work, okay? I didn't forget about you. Remember, family, we also have 3 giveaways. Please make sure I don't forget about the giveaways because then I got to engage and I might forget, all right? Thank you for HaKodesh Management for the donation. I appreciate that. You said the video quality is good. That is what's up. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, they take cat naps, Lizzie Liz, just so they could be here and scream on me when they get... Man, I'm telling you, if I don't agree with somebody that much, there's no way I'll be staying up this late at night. I can see if this was like during 8 p.m., 7 p.m. This is at midnight, and you're up right now just so you can contend with me, and you're consistent. They're faithful. They're loyal. They're here almost every session. I thank y'all for you. My brother and sister, I thank y'all for you. Shout out to my brother Seth Upright. My brother Seth, we're keeping you in prayer. My brother Seth, he experienced a loss in the family. Please send your condolences to my brother Seth and keep him in your prayers. Thank you, my brother Seth. Shabbat shalom to you, and we are praying for you, my brother, all right? We're here to provide that support. Thank you so much, all right? All right, so look, I'm telling us all the trolls in advance, all right? Before you get to me, you're going to be torn up by these lion and lionesses in the chat. So I'm just saying, tread carefully. Law of Garden, don't go nowhere. I don't see you no more. Stay right there. Don't you go nowhere, because you was here up until 3 a.m. last Friday. So I know you ain't got nothing else better to do, all right? Stay right there. I'm going to give you this work. But first, let me give people a sample of how we apply the KHM Holistic Research Paradigm for Bible study so we can continue to whet your appetite for the upcoming classes. I know. Make sure you join us on Clubhouse, because we go in Clubhouse. And you know what, family? I can't even talk about Clubhouse because people say, Divine, you talking about an app. And things are going out here with our brothers and sisters. But then when I show them all these groups and things we're doing in the community, it's like they just gloss over that. It's like, okay, so you can't win for winning. All right, shout out to Angie. Love y'all. Shalom, sis. Thank you for reaching out to my brother. Thank you, everybody, for reaching out to the brother as well. Shout out to T. Waters in the building. Shalom. Shalom. I spend more time bigging up my family that's out there, man. All of y'all family. All right, let's keep going. Let me give you a preview of what's in the Patreon. Make the haters mad that we got almost 400 people supporting the Patreon. I know they mad. How do all these people supporting what Divine's doing? Divine ain't teaching over there and Divine ain't in the community. Okay, no problem. But ask anybody in here that's part of the Patreon, all the content. We have over 400 items on the Patreon. Over 400 items. Going towards 500 items. There's no way you can go through all of that. Matter of fact, I think there's more items on there than we have videos on this channel. So if you're serious about your study, that's why the Patreon is there. People say, Divine, how you get all these books? A lot of the money that I get from the Patreon goes towards purchasing books and making them available to you. Allow me to sign up for websites that are exclusive, making them available to you. Getting the Bible software, making it available to you. That's where it's going. We're recycling it back to give the information back to you. Thank you for supporting the ministry. And like I said, we have a series that's on there already where I'm posting up primary after primary after primary of Israelites in West and Central Africa. The Israelites that came down from Israel came from Egypt, and I'm referring to the sub-Saharan travels and the travels below sub-Saharan Africa. That means that goes alongside towards Ethiopia and all the way down to South Africa. Shout out to my South African brothers and sisters that are Israelites out there, and my brothers in West and Central Africa that identify with Israel as well. Peace and shalom to y'all. Thank y'all so much for preserving our culture as much as you can in your respective places of residence. We appreciate y'all for that. All right. Zach says the books are coming through like text messages. We don't play. You know how many books we got? We have over 250 books on there. I plan to have 1,000 in the next 6 months. I'm trying to get at least 1,000 on there. You cannot follow this channel if you're not a bibliophile. You must enjoy reading, because the purpose of reading things is to transport you back into that time period in which the activities that was going on in the text were actually happening. This is what these books are designed to do, and designed to educate you on other things that are out there, whether in the realm of academia, within our community, things that people are teaching, they're saying. We are equipping you with everything. I had to use 50 plus books for my dissertation. All right. And all those books are on Patreon. So I made it available for people to go back and read it. So when my dissertation is public, you can also peer review it. I'm okay with that. That's why I'm giving it to you so you can do it. It helps make me sharper. And I thank y'all for that. All right. He said, I get to schedule all the books that come up. The preface of some of these books are books themselves. Some of the prefaces is like 10, 12, 15 pages. Some of the books are almost 1,000 pages. Yes. However, go to the book, go to the contents list in the book and look for subject matters that you are attracted to specifically. Do that. You don't have to read the entire book if you don't have the time to do so, even though I would encourage you to read it. What I'm simply saying is look at the table of contents and hone in on a particular subject matter the book is touching on in particular, and read that, consume that. And let it take you to another book talking on that subject, consume that until you have enough data on that subject matter, and then move on to do something else. You can take bite-sized pieces of each book. You don't have to take it and read everything in one sitting. That would take you some time. Just look in the table of contents, look for the thing that you're interested in, read that, focus on that, study that, and then move on to another book. And then at another time, you can always come back to that book if there's something else in there that leads you to that specific research. That's what you should do. All right. So what I suggest is take the book cover and take the table of contents and put it in a document. So every time and highlight it, right? Tag the document so you know what it's about. So anytime you're doing your research, this is what I use tags for. Anytime you're doing your research, you type up that tag, it'll bring you back to that book cover with the table of contents. You'll see, hey, it's talking about this subject matter that I'm at right now. And then now go to the book and read it. I also put a book up there about how to speed read. Some of you have been asking me about that. We have a book on there that teaches you how to speed read. Listen, family, you're not getting this type of stuff anywhere else. I want to encourage other people who have Patreons or mores or teachers, leaders, give more tools, more sources to the community. Let us help them together. Do not shortchange them. Because I could just sit here and tell you what I believe and what I think and all of that, but I give you ways to fact check me. When we was on the Clubhouse, I was teaching people how to use Bible study software online and Accordance and Logos, and showed them how that worked, how to interface with, how to interact. Why? I said, anytime somebody tells you about a passage, bring these tools up and fact check them. That's it. Don't give your opinion. Bring the tools up and fact check them. Right? And when I say fact check, I'm not saying purposely be boisterous with it and be disrespectful with it. I'm saying if they're saying something and it does not line up with the data that you have, ask them a question. Say, hey, More, I got a question. I know you said this is in the Nephil stem, but it says here it's the Heath Piel stem. How do you figure it's in the Nephil stem? Where are you getting that from? Because it's keyed here as Nephil. Have them answer that. Say, hey, wait a second. Wait. This is the particle right here. Can you explain what this particle, grammatical constituent, what its bearing is in this context? Wait, hold on. If we go look at the role of pastoralists, I have a book here called The Bedroom Culture in the Bible. They explain the importance of why sons are there, not because the sons were better than the daughters, but because in ancient times past, they needed protection. You have to protect what you own. So stop this gender thing. Listen, every gender receives equity from Yah to perform their respective roles. Male and females are not equal. They're only equal when you can have a man having a baby and a woman producing sperm to have a baby. Until that time naturally occurs, they are not equal. They are not equal. They have equitable stake in the family and in the relationship with Yah. You cannot be echad in Yah without the male and female. It's just not going to happen. The scripture says that children are a blessing to men, and that blessed is he that have a quiver of them. Children also have a role. You are blessed by the amount of children you're able to produce. Men, provide for and protect. Produce, provide, protect. The three pros. Produce, provide, and protect. Man, that is your role as the chief over the household. You take the liability of the decisions that the household makes. That's important, but you cannot make a decision without the chokmah from the woman. That's why chokmah in Proverbs 8 or Mishlei 8 is personified as a woman. And then we see in Proverbs 31 makes a reference to that chokmah. There's roles. Women have a nurturing spirit. They have intuition more than we do. There are things that they're able to see that we can't see. So make sure you have a righteous wife. The scripture says, blessed is the man that what? Has a wife. Because if he has a righteous wife, he obtains favor. Men, if you're not getting favor in the things that you're doing, I know I'm getting tons of favor in everything that I'm doing. You must have a righteous woman in your life. To the men. To the women, you can only be submissive to a righteous man. You should only be submissive to a righteous man. I'm not telling you to withstand the authority of a man in your home, but you must encourage him to be righteous. Do not drive him away into unrighteousness because it will affect your household. You are the chokmah in the home. Okay? That is the law, the Torah. I showed it to you. The father in Proverbs, remember, I broke this down for you. I don't know if y'all remembered it. The mother gives the Torah in the home. The father creates the boundaries of provision, protection, and production. The mother teaches the children how to navigate within the boundaries of protection and provision that the father lays down, the authority and the structure that he lays down. The woman is the one that teaches you how to navigate that structure. So they need each other together to raise children. So not one gender is equal or better. There are respective roles that you have innately that cannot be removed. So we must love, cherish each other and our roles, and do not let society make you think that traditional roles are bad. That's the agenda. Man, maybe I should stop talking about this. I'm sorry. We have our Patreon exclusive series called Let's Talk About It, where I'm very frank and open, because guess what? That material is not on YouTube, and I can say whatever I want to say. But I'm saying this now because somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to hear this. You can always rebuild with broken pieces. Let me say that again. You can always rebuild with broken pieces. If you know how to put things back together. It's a structure in how you do things. See, here's the thing. We have these people that come on here and challenge me about doctrine and all this stuff all the time, but I see no outlet where they're giving people principles on how to live. There's no conveyance of axioms, universal truths that are timeless, that work in no matter what population and society and culture it's in. The scriptures has tons of them. People only know what the Spirit said. They don't know what the Spirit is saying. That is the relationship there. Hokma said, it cries out, will men hearken unto me? Okay. All right. I'm sorry, fam. Let's get back to where we was at. All right. Let's get back to where we was at. Let's pull up the Patreon real quick. Again, let me know if the audio and video is out of sync or there's issues. I'm here to correct it. But law of gardening, don't you go nowhere. Do not go nowhere. You're asking for this. Okay? You ask for this, not me. All right. So let me go ahead and show you what we got. Let me show you what we got. All right. All right. So here, hold on. Let me get this. Half the people that be debating with me, I'm like, yo, what if somebody asks you for advice? They'll probably debate with the person asking them for advice. Say, man, I just lost my mother. How do I get with that? What you mean you just lost your mother? Let me get you the scripture. Scripture says, it's like, what? I just need some advice or some counseling. You just beat me with the scripture. That's crazy, man. I just want my answer. I just want my question answered. Answer my question, divine. I don't care that you're giving people wisdom and teaching them how to live this thing out. Answer my question. We will get to you. Just hold on. We'll get to you. Let me make you mad right now. I'm going to show the Patreon again so you can see the people that supporting it and what we got on the Patreon. Because I want you to be upset over the people giving and supporting this ministry. All right? So content here, we have Black Jews inhabited the mountainous region between Ethiopia and the Congo as eyewitnessed by Leo Africanus in 1550 CE. Content, Black Jews in Luango as witnessed by Leo Africanus 1550 CE. Either eyewitness or he's receiving it based on his travels, information based on his travels. The Bible experience. We have an audio Bible that is available for you to consume. The whole book of Genesis is there. And if you don't know what the audio Bible or the Bible experience is, look it up, right? This is an audio Bible of only Black actors and actresses only. They have orchestral sounds in it, ambient sounds in it. It envelops you in the scripture. So the brother that's saying he's trying to get back in the walk, you need a holistic approach to the text. Sometimes you need to sit back, close your eyes, and just be enveloped in the sound of the scriptures with people that sound just like you. It resonates. We have it available, the whole book of Genesis, and we're going to be put out every book of the scriptures as well. Stay tuned for that. All right. Clubhouse invites right now, family. I'm gonna let you know, Clubhouse no longer. You have to wait for an exclusive invite. They have removed that. Now everybody can get access to Clubhouse. So I hope to see all of you there. Make sure you follow me on Clubhouse. Subscribe to our rooms. There's tons of stuff that we're putting out there because we're trying to build that platform as well, because a lot of our people are there. There's been a lot of secular people that have joined my room, since it's public, and hit me up afterwards. I've never heard anything like that in my life. They be in these ratchy, raunchy groups and rooms, and they join ours, and they're like, yo, how can I get more of this information? All praise to the Most High. We're making a difference everywhere we go. We're not here to play games, right? We have an article called Egypt and Exodus, excellent written work. And the reason why I'm sharing this work is because you have an archaeologist by the name of Manfred Bietek and another associate of his. And through Manfred Bietek's excavational work in the realm of Avaris or biblical Goshen, he has uncovered so much evidence in that region and elsewhere throughout Egypt that he says the Israelites did exist in some shape or form. He's an agnostic, atheistic archaeologist. Excellent written article. I don't agree with the chronology of it, but the data is mind-blowing. Okay? All right. Let's keep scrolling. All right. We have the book right here, 10 Days to Faster Reading. If you want to speed read, here's the book for you. We got it there. Demons, What the Bible Really Says About the Powers of Darkness by Michael Heiser is available on here. Angels, What the Bible Really Says About God's Heavenly Hosts. I dare you not bore me with the Bible. Excellent book for people who get bored with the text. Read this book. Excellent book. Excellent book written by Michael Heiser, okay? And here's me talking about the Clubhouse and what? 471 more posts. We have so much content on here. If you're itching for more content and don't see it pop up on YouTube, you have to go to the Patreon. Shout out to all my Patreon subscribers. I truly appreciate your patronage. Thank you, my brother Zadok Israel, for the sticker. I appreciate that. All right, family, we're not playing games. There's books and articles and exclusive content and giveaways and language courses and audio about everything is on the Patreon. We're not playing right now. We're giving you everything. We want to envelop you in this culture. So there's no excuse to be bored with the text. None. Nobody here should be, I read the Bible. I'm telling you, you cannot be bored with this text. Once you learn it appropriately and know how to study it, you cannot be bored with it. All right? All right. So last thing, and then I'm going to bring Law of Gardening on and give Law of Gardening that work respectfully. Let me give you a sample of what I broke down and brought out on the Clubhouse app. All right. Give me a second. Let me set it up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right. Let me bring up some sources real quick. All right. And let me get the other one. Hold on. All right. Let me show you how this works, family. Okay. Let me show you how this works. All right. Give me a second. What was that? Interesting. Okay. All right. So let me show you guys real quick. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 18. Genesis 18. Hold on one second. All right, and let's go here. All right, so I'm gonna show y'all something. All right, take a look at my screen. Where is it at? Oh, here it is. All right. Can y'all see my screen? It may be a little small. Let me blow it up. All right. Hold on one second. This is getting okay. There we go. All right. Let's let us go. Let us deal with this real quick. And by the way, what you're seeing here is called Logos. It's a Bible study software called Logos. And guess what? If you're on the Patreon, you can get access to this and the Bible study software called Accordance. All right, the paid version of these for no additional costs. All right, I should code. No, this is Logos. This is not Accordance. Right. All right, so I want to go over this with y'all real quick if y'all can see it. All right, let me see. Oh, you interested in this the Truth of Yah board game? All right, I got you. Hold on. This is an Israelite created board game. All right. Let me drop the link in the chat. You know I definitely support our own, all right? All right, there it is right there. All right, Nathan James, that's the link to order the board game, okay? All right. So also, so if you're interested in getting the paid version of Logos and the paid version of Accordance, sign up for our Patreon. We have these Bible study tools there. And what I'll be doing on Patreon soon is showing you how to go through each one of these tools. All right, that's something else we bring out when we do our classes, all right, because you're going to be required to have one of these Bible study softwares. You can use online software like Bible Hub and Blue Letter Bible. However, this gives you more customability, personalization, and has a little bit more resources than what you can get, because a lot of stuff that you get that's on online is in the public domain. Some of these things that's on here is not in the public domain that you need to actually purchase, okay? All right. So you're saying, how do we access Logo software through Patreon? All right, let me give you the link for that. Hold on. I'll give you the link for that. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna give you the link. And what I will be doing also is I will be continuously adding to the library tools and resources in the software, because you're using my login for the software. All right. All right, let me give you the link. Hold on. I'm gonna put it there because I know some of you are asking about it. I got you. Give me a second. All right, and here it is in the chat. All right, that's it to get the Logos. And if you're interested in Accordance, which is another Bible software, which I will go over with y'all another time. And again, don't fret for what you see on the screen. I'm going to explain what everything is to you in 1 second, okay? Because again, I'm here to teach you how to study. So when you have people like Law of Gardening come on here, or some other person that comes on here, I'm going to show you how to work them, right? Because I could do it off the cuff. Right off the dome with nothing in front of me. I could just go in, but I want to walk people through it so they can replicate what I'm doing. I don't want you just to marvel at what Divine's doing. I want you to be able to do it yourself. All right. Now here's it for the Accordance. So we have them at different pledge tiers. So the Accordance, you get that at the $20 pledge tier. The Logos, you get that at the $50 pledge tier. Because if you go online and see how much these software costs, we're talking about hundreds to thousands of dollars that I'm giving you my login, which means I continue to buy books and buy tools that get added to it all the time. Every month I'm purchasing new books and new tools that's getting added to these pieces of software. All right. So here's the one for accordance at the $20 tier. If you're interested in it, I'm going to put it there in the chat for you. Here it is. And that's at the $20 tier. All right. So Donnell Jones says it's too small. Is it really too small? If I blow it up any more, it's going to look distorted and too big. Let me see if I can close the information tab. All right. Let me know if that's a little bit better. I don't know if it's not going to let me scale it up anymore. Let's see. Yeah, it's not going to let me scale it up anymore. I don't know how much more I can increase it without it looking crazy. I'll just leave it like this. Hopefully you guys can see it. If not, you may have to turn your phone in landscape mode or watch this YouTube video on a TV. All right. And also what I could do, I could take myself out the frame. Maybe y'all don't want to see me. Let me take me out the frame. All right. Let me know if that's better with me out the frame. All right. Let me know if this is better with me out the frame. All right. Is this better? Let me know if this is better. Let me know if this is better. I took myself out the frame and I removed the information column. Let me know if this is a little bit better. Let me know if that's better. Let me know if that's better. Is it better? Let me see what y'all saying. Better. Okay. So again, it may not be the best. You may have to look at this on your laptop, desktop, or your TV if you're viewing it from your phone, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you why I'm giving you these tools, because I'm showing you how to study for yourself. You will no longer be deceived when you hit this channel. Some people say Divine's a cult and those people follow him, but cults don't teach you how to study for yourself. Cults do not teach you how to study for yourself. They teach you what to believe based on their dogma. They don't teach you to study for yourself. I'm giving you the tools, the resource, the methodology to study for yourself. Cults don't do that. Cult leaders don't do that. So stop it. Stop it. Slander's not going to work over here. Mudslinging is not going to work over here. I'm matrix mudslinging. I go like this. Because I say all the time, whoever's doing the mudslinging is upset because they're the ones in the dirt. Okay. All right. So let's go. So Genesis chapter 18. I'm going to show you so many things you did not see before that I broke down in Clubhouse. And I think I may have touched on it on here before some time ago. But I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to show you external resources. You're going to get a glimpse of how we study in our classes. All you have to do is 4 classes, and you can get everything from there. You can take any passage in the Bible and break it down like I'm about to break it down for you. There's nothing like this that I've seen in the community. I'm not saying it don't exist. And there's other good teachers out there that attempt to do this, but mine is holistic, which means we're not just sticking with just the language. We're showing you holistically. So you must have a methodology, which I haven't shown y'all yet, but I'm gonna show y'all an image of methodology, and then I'm gonna show you a tool. This is a tool. Bible study software is a tool, and then show you resources. So we're gonna do methodology, right? I'm gonna give you a very simplistic version of methodology. I'm going to show you a tool, which you're seeing right in front of you, and then I'm going to show you sources, okay? And with these techniques, you can deep dive into any text, and you can get what the author intends for his recipient audience to understand without having to interject your own contemporary presuppositions into the text. This is why what we do here as far as scholarship is invaluable, because I'm giving you the things that they keep secret in academia, and I'm putting it right into the palm of your hands. All right. And I do this because I love y'all. All right. I do this because I want myself to be held accountable to the things I'm teaching. Do not take my word for it. And I tell you this all the time. All right. Let's get started. All right. Check it out. Genesis chapter 18. Now, if you're looking at the Bible study software over here, where you see my cursor, I have the ESV, I have the NIV, and I have the NET. These are my 3 top Bibles that I utilize, okay? The ESV, the NIV, and the NET. And there's various reasons why I do that. I have a video that I'm going to put out soon called my top 5 Bibles and my top 5 study tools. So my top 5 Bible translations, my top 5 study Bibles, and my top 5 study tools. Right? I'm going to bring that out for you. I'm going to do a top 5 or a top 10. I don't know. I was doing top 5 because it's quicker. But if you want me to do a top 10, I could do a top 10. With these tools that I'm giving you, the software, which you can get right now on the Patreon, okay? Access to my library. The reason why there's a pledge amount is because it's something that I pay thousands of dollars for that I'm giving you access to. And the money that you give to us on the Patreon goes towards me buying more books and more tools so you get more functionality in the software. How you like that? But the haters will always find something to say, and it's okay because they're learning too, right? So check it. Genesis 18. Once you have these tools, you're going to see me do something here that you probably haven't seen done before. But this is how I have my setup. I have my 3 translations. I have my what's called the exegetical guide. I'm going to bring that to you in 1 second. And then I also have over here, which is my interlinear. Okay. Now there's tons of other tools like commentaries, which I don't use. When I show you these techniques, you do not need commentaries. I don't do Bible commentaries. I used to. I don't do Bible commentaries. The only Bible commentaries that I do is in the study Bibles that I recommend to you, like the archaeological study Bible, the cultural background study Bible. The reason why I recommend those commentaries because they're talking about the text objectively. They're not talking about it from a theological position. And that's why I value those tools. Okay. So check it out. Genesis 18. I'm going to show you. So first I go into the translations. And what happens is the reason why you need translations is because the translations that you read and compare will tell you what you need to hone in when you're reading the text. What nuance should I be looking for? But just remember, there are 2 types of Bible translations. There is the formal equivalency translation, which the ESV is, and that means that the translators take an approach to try and translate the text of the original language into the English word for word as much as possible. KJV is also a formal equivalency translation. Then you also have a dynamic equivalency translation, which is represented here by the NIV, and the NET tries to merge both of them. The NIV, and what that does is that it gives you the thought for thought translation from the original language into the translated language. And in this case, it's English. So it reads a little bit better, even though the ESV, KJV reads a little bit more rigidly. The NIV reads a bit better because they're translating the thought of the culture into a thought that can be identified here in English. But NIV also has some good places where it does word for word very good. The ESV in other places does work out some idioms, but it's more slavish to the original language, which means word for word translation, because it helps you with studying the text. Now, there are some ideologies behind both these translations, which is set forth by the preface. Like the ESV is in response to other translations. The NIV is designed to give a more contemporary readers a better way to flow through the text, right? That they can't get from Old English. This is why I choose these 2 translations. I have one strict formal equivalency, one dynamic equivalency translation, and then the Net Bible. And the reason why the Net Bible is good because it tries to do both. It's a middle ground, and it has tons of notes on various passages. I mean, it is wonderful. Anytime you deal with a Bible translation, you have what's called a specific Bible translation called a critical edition Bible. You have footnotes. That is represented here by these blue markers. This is O, this is 1, this is P, this is 2, this is Q. So these markers, if you mouse over it, gives you more information. It may tell you another passage of scripture which is related to the passage we're reading. It may tell you a textual variant. It may tell you another pronunciation. In this case, it's terabinth, right? It may give you some other kind of data in addition to what you're seeing here, okay? Which is important, all right? You need that. All right. NIV also, it gives you something similar. Here in NIV, we have a full interlinear with the NIV. OK. And then here we have the Net Bible. All right. Here, again, it tries to blend the best of both worlds. These are my top 3 favorite Bible translations. OK. And I explain to you why I like them. And as we go through them, you'll see why I like them and why I use them all the time. Okay. So we're going to read this. Now, as we're reading this, over on the left side, right, you have what's called the exegetical guide. And I have here something called word by word. Now, I know I have an intermediate literacy level in biblical Hebrew, so I can follow through the language. However, I'm not expert or advanced, so there are some places that I have to take my time and go through. I have to go and refer to other biblical grammars, language grammars, in order to really understand what's going on. And then I'll read a paper or an article or journal entry by some expert in the field to get better expertise understanding. But I have enough literacy to read it and to parse it, right? Enough. I'm not saying I'm a master at it, but I'm good enough so I can teach it, right? However, if you're not as good, this right here will help you with it, all right? This is not going to replace a biblical Hebrew teacher or a grammar guide or anything like that, or courses like I have on the Patreon. However, it allows you to understand the text based on the original language, and it even parses it out for you. That means separates each component into its more minuscule component so you can understand what the original language is conveying. Okay? So again, what I'm showing you here is how to use these tools. Again, this is invaluable because once you learn this, you will not need to rely on a commentary. Now, the last thing I have there, and again, this is really not how I study. I typically have like 15 tabs up, and my screen is much smaller so I can accommodate those tabs. That's why I got a widescreen monitor. But I'm showing you just 3 sources, right? I'm giving you exegetical guide. I'm giving you Bible translations. And the last component here is a lexicon. Typically, I have 4 lexicons up, but I'm just going to do one for now. And a lexicon will allow you to go and look up the word in the original language, see its definition, its semantic range, which means the amount of meanings that's applied to it based on the context. For example, the word goy here, right? Which is gimel, wav, yud. The gimel have a dagesh, the wav has a cholam, and the yud is there. Goy. And then it shows you here, it means people, nation, i.e. a large group based on various cultural, physical, geographical ties, often extended clan relationships. Then it gives you the passages that shares this semantic value or this meaning. Okay? A population of an animal, Joel 1:6, Zephaniah 2:14. The Gentiles, i.e. a national group or groups that are not Jewish, with the associative meaning of being uncultural, pagan, and heathen, Nehemiah 5:8. This is why lexicons are important. When you mouse over the verse reference, it'll open up and expand the verse to you. And as you can see, it gives me the ESV there, which is the translation that I have over here to the right. There are tons more other tools, but I'm trying to keep it simple for tonight. If you're following me so far, hit 1. If there's anything that I said that you are not sure of, hit 2. Hit 1 if you're following, and if this is good, hit 2. If you're not following, there's some kind of question about what's going on right now, and I will assist you. All right? Let me know before I go further, okay? All right, you're following. All right, shout out to Bevy Bev in the building. Shalom. All right. So you're following. All right, shout out to Sadari Halliburton. Be seeing me in those Clubhouse rooms, man. I'll be seeing putting that work. Shout out to the Armor of God. Shout out to See Me 2234. Shout out to Dwight Adams. Shout out to Devion Baker. Shalom. All right. I see y'all. All right. Live Judah. Shalom, King. All right. So look, again, everything that I'm showing you and about to show you, you can get it from the Patreon. That's why the Patreon exists. That's why so many people hate this channel, because we're teaching you how to fact check things. All right. All right. So let's keep going, family. All right. So let's read the passage, and I want to show you something, okay? So we're going to go over here to the right section, right column, and this is the ESV. It says, and the Lord appeared to him by the oaks of Mamre as he sat at the door of his tent in the heat of the day. He lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, 3 men were standing in front of him. When he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them and bowed himself to the earth and said, O Lord, if I found favor in your sight, do not pass your servant by. Let a little water be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree, while I bring a morsel of bread, that you may refresh yourselves, and after that you may pass on, since you have come to your servant. So they said, do as you have said. And Abraham went quickly into the tent to Sarah and said, quick, 3 seahs of fine flour, knead it and make cakes. And Abraham ran to the herd and took a calf tender and good and gave it to a young man who prepared it quickly. Now, what I'm going to show y'all is over to the right is our exegetical guide, which goes through each Hebrew constituent that exists here. For example, we have Vayera. Vayera. We have our Wav, Patach, Yod, Dagesh. We have our Zegol, Resh, Chametz, Aleph. So when you mouse over it, it now breaks down to you Wa or Way Yerah. Way is the way is a conjunction, meaning with, together, and Yerah, which means to see, understand, spy, look at, and reveal. A cool thing about this software is when you mouse over the circle to the left of the word, it gives you the different places in which they translate that word elsewhere in the scriptures. All right. And they give you a visible representation of that. Okay. So this is an appearance. This is a spying out, a revelation. Okay. Which they did. They revealed themselves to spy something out. That's why they came to Abraham, to spy something out. It's deep when you get into it, because then they switch their attention once he brings them the food to Sarai. And they say something about her. They came to physically spy the thing out because the promise had to be cultivated in the mind and the spirit of Abraham and Sarai. That is the real reason why they came there. To test the hospitality factor of Abraham, which we're going to see in a second. And the same reason why 2 of those messengers left and went to Lot, and Lot met them at the gate. Why? Because they was testing out his hospitality. That is one of the reasons why Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed and why Lot was preserved. When you understand the ancient Near Eastern context of why hospitality was so important. I'm going to get into that with you in a second. Okay. Hopefully y'all are enjoying. Hopefully you're following. Hopefully you are understanding the value of what I'm conveying. Okay. So again, all these tools are the things that you need in order to dissect the text. And I'm giving it all to you free game right now. Shout out to One West Defense. I'm giving you a sample of what we're going to be going through in our classes. And as you go through multiple classes, you will get the hang of it and you'll be set. All right. All right. Shout out to Yvette Powell in the building. Shalom. All right. Okay. I see y'all. A lot of y'all hit one again. All right. Cool. All right. Let's keep going. All right. So let me show you in the NIV. Let me show you how it reads in the NET. And then I'm going to break everything down to you. The only time I'm going to go into the language is if there's something key that needs to be seen there. Okay. If there's nothing key that needs to be seen there, we don't have to go to the language. Okay. The original language. All right. So let's go to the next verse. We're going to stay with verse 1 to 6. I'm going to read verse 1 to 6. All right. Let's go to verse 1 to 6. And it reads in the NIV. All right. This one, again, has the interlinear, which I also recommend the ESV interlinear. ESV interlinear. You must get the ESV interlinear. That's another Bible that I recommend in my top 5. Okay. So it says here, the Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre. Do you see? ESV said oaks. And we have here, it says trees. Well, how do we know what it really says there? Is it oak or tree? When you go to the exegetical guide over here to your left, you'll be able to see it for yourself. All right. So let's go down and see if it's even there. All right. Scroll down. Right. All right. Keep going down. And we have here Elone. Elone. You have your Aleph. You have your Lamed, your Wav, and your final Nun. All right. It's the terebinth. Okay. What is the terebinth of Mamre? So you'll see sometimes they'll translate terebinth as trees or oaks. You need to research what terebinth is. Okay. And you can find that by going to a lexicon, which is this one right here, the Dictionary of Biblical Languages with Semantic Domains in Hebrew. A lexicon will allow you to further investigate. Okay. So in this case here, we have the word here. Let me see if it'll allow me to do it. No, that's not what I want. Close that out. I don't want that. Come on. It's indexing, so sometimes it could take some time for it to respond, okay? So let's do copy. Let's go over here, and we're going to paste it in here. Paste. And we're going to look it up. All right? So here's Elon. I'm going to read it for you, right? It says a large tree, a very prominent tree. Now, remember, I told you guys about the UBS Translator Helps, the United Bible Societies, to create translator helps to help people translate the original languages into other languages. And they give you what's called translator helps. One of those translator helps is on the Patreon, and it talks about fauna and flora. It talks about animals of that time period and plants of that time period. Now, why do you need that source? Because if you stop here to try and investigate why one says trees, why one says oaks, and you go back into the original language and you see what it says, you then want to get a source that talks about the flora of that time period, and it'll go into more depth about what we are seeing here. So let's read it. A very prominent tree of an unknown species, though oak and terebinth are suggested by some versions and lexicons. Note, the emphasis in these contexts seems is on the largeness or prominence and not the species. Now, you'll see a reference for that in Joshua chapter 19, verse 33. Now, why is the focus on the size of the tree? Well, let's go back and let's interpret it after I read through the translation, and then we go to the Net Bible, and then I'm going to break it down for you piece by piece. But this is how you should be studying. This Bible software is available on the Patreon, either by way of the Accordance or the Logos. And again, it will maximize your study time. You will get the most out of it. It will be so effective. It would be mind-blowing. Now, look at this. Look at this. Look at this, right? Now, check it out. Now, this is what Sister Boom Shakalaka. Now, Sisters Boom Shakalaka, I'm glad you're here at 1:23 a.m. Okay, you said you had a husband. I think you have kids as well. Why are you up at this time of night still watching this channel? I have no clue. You gave us a call over the weekend. Our hours of operation is Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Your voicemail that you gave was very respectful, and we appreciate that. We put you in the queue, right, for next week because you did not follow the proper protocol to call and leave a message, okay? So just want to let you know, we got your message, and we're going to speak with you. I'm just letting you know you didn't follow proper protocol. That's why it's going to take some time before we get to you. However, you come in here while we're flowing, and family, I'm not going to focus on her. I just want to point this out real quick. We're going to go back to our study. You come in here and say, you, Divine, giving us what we need to dissect the text. Wow, I thought that's what Christ was for. Last time I checked, Christ is not sitting next to me. He's not here. You'll say, but Christ is there in the spirit, Divine. So you want me to take your word that you have the spirit? That's what you want me to do? You want to come on here and teach us this? All right, sis. Since you have Christ, I'm going to give you this in the Septuagint in the Greek, and please break the Greek down for us. And I dare you to say the Greek is not important. I dare you to say the Hebrew is not important. I dare you to say context is not important. I dare you to say culture is not important. I dare you to say that. That's what Christ is for. I thought Christ was inside the believers. Isn't that what Paul said? That Christ lives in us? It's not us that liveth, but he that liveth in us. Matter of fact, family, let me give you the scripture because I'm going to let Christ speak through me to y'all right now. Maybe some people need the scripture. Let's get the scripture where the Bible says, the Bible says, Now you got to see my mug. Let's get the scripture to say that Christ liveth in me. Let's go to what the scripture says. All right. It is not me that liveth, if Christ that liveth in me. So that's who's speaking to you right now. The Christ that liveth in me is who speaks to you. Let's get Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. All right. Let's respond just with scripture. You can fight the scripture on your own time. Okay. Let's go to Galatians 2 and 20 and see what that says. Okay. Let's read it, family. All right. We're going to read it together. All right. Let's go through it. If you can teach us better than me, I'll give you the floor. All right. If you can teach it better than me, I'll give you the floor. Okay. So let's take a look to see what the scripture says. All right. We're going to get back to the teaching, family. It's okay. Let me take time to educate the people that come in here at 1:26 a.m. on a Friday night who are here consistently. That's why I love y'all. Y'all don't take no time off. You'll take those cat naps during the day so you can be here and criticize what I'm doing. I'm all game for it. The scripture says, but if in our endeavor to be justified in Christ, we too were found to be sinners, is Christ then a servant of sin? Certainly not. For if I rebuild what I tore down, I prove myself to be a transgressor. For though the law, I died to the law, through the law, I died to the law, so that I might live to God. I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not nullify the grace of God, for if righteousness were through the law, then Christ died for no purpose. The key is verse 20. I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. So yes, that is who's teaching you right now. The Christ in me teaching through divine. I'm giving you the scripture. If you want more scripture on that, if that's not sufficient enough, let me know. Okay? We got tons more cuts than that. All right? Now look, check it out what the sister says, right? Look what she says. Loving neighbor as self is not that hard in English, Spanish, Hebrew. You deflecting. Your passion is not Christ's passion. So Christ did not take time to teach. He did not take time to break down the law, the word, the Torah, Moshe. Let's get some passages. Let's find out where Yeshua is exegeted in the text. Let's get Matthew chapter 5. I'm just going to give you scripture. We're not playing tonight, man. Let me just give you scripture. All right? I'm just going to give you scripture. We're going to see if he was performing midrash or exegesis on the text and breaking it down for them. All right? Let's see if he was doing that. Maybe I'm out of order. It could be me. I could be out of order. I don't know. Right? Let's see. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. Okay. Now, this is somebody that's criticizing me, and they have not lived during that time period, so they don't know the language, they don't know the culture, they don't know the customs and mannerisms, they don't know the history, they don't know the environment, they don't know about the flora or fauna in that environment, they don't know the topography or the locale in which Christ was even speaking at and why he's making references to certain things. I'm gonna give you another great example, man, after this. We're trying to teach, but sometimes we got to teach those out there that don't understand. But look, check it. Let's get Matthew chapter 5. Let's get Matthew chapter 5. All right? Matthew chapter 5. All right, let's go. All right. And again, I take time to teach everybody. You're not going to get that from a lot of mores out there. They won't even pay attention to what's being said right now. But I'm using it as a teaching moment. Okay? Christ didn't even call himself divine. You got too much pride, first of all. Spiritual journey, I understand. We're going to get back to the teaching, but this is for somebody. You have heard it that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be liable to judgment. Now, sis, remember, I love you, sis, but you got cut up. You got cut up last Friday. I gave you scriptures. You have yet to repent. So technically, you're unrepentant, and we should not even be listening to you right now. But privately, I will talk with you, but you're showing out again publicly. All right? So now he's given a scripture from what's called the Old Testament, because he didn't come to destroy the law of the prophets. He came to fulfill it, right? Bring it to a sense. Now, there's also a breakdown of all the books of the Old Testament in which Yeshua quoted and broke down. I'm simply doing the same thing that he's doing. The Christ in me is doing this. Okay, check it out. All right. Well, if one of the mods wants to put it in timeout, let me finish with this cut. And then if you need to put the sister in timeout, we'll put her in a corner for a second and we'll let her back on once she's able to maintain her decorum. Okay. Because we're really trying to teach here and you're coming out doing what you're doing. All right. So it says here, you should not murder. Whoever murders will be liable for judgment. This is called midrash. He is getting them to seek out the intended meaning of the text. And then he goes and breaks it down. And if you continue to read it, you will see that. So I don't know what's going on, sis. You can say what you want. If you don't like this content, why are you here? Some people are saying that you have a crush on me. I don't know about that. Maybe you do. I'm not going to be up at 1:30 a.m. looking at some sister on YouTube who I don't like. It's just not going to happen. If you have a husband, you should be with him. Spend time with your husband. Okay? That's what you should be doing right now. All right? And maybe he should come on here and assist too. I don't know. I'm just saying. This is what people are saying. I'm not saying it's true. And you're probably going to deny it or say something crazy. But if you're here to learn, sis, and I'm thinking that's why you're here, not because of a crush or trying to divert. I think you're here to learn because you're here consistently. Just sit back and learn. You're doing too much typing in there. Just sit back and see the conclusion of the matter. And you may learn something. Okay? All right. So let's let's transition. We're going to go back. All right. Let's go back. All right. Let's go back to where we was at, family. Again, if more scriptures is necessary, let me know and I'll bring it out. All right. Let's go back to the teaching where we was at initially. Okay. So remember I told y'all, whenever you're reading, always look at multiple translations and see if there's a nuance. The nuance here is oak and trees. That's the nuance. Go back and look into it further. We have a book that talks about the flora in the Bible, all the different types of species of trees that are in the Bible that you can see now in the land of Israel. Okay. Let me take me out the frame again so I can make it a little bit bigger. All right. So my brother, One West Defense, who gives the definition of these words? Now, the people who give a definition of these words are the people that study the language. Okay. Now, what I'm going to ask you, One West Defense, was the Bible that we have today originally written in English? Yes or no? If it was not originally written in English and it was written in Hebrew and it was written in Greek, okay, Koine Greek and classical Hebrew and classical Aramaic, what I want to ask you is, can you read those languages? Were you raised by somebody in Israel that knew those languages and taught them to you, or somebody in Greece that has taught those languages to you? If not, then what are you relying on? You have to rely on something. If you're going to the Strong's Concordance, that's a white man. He's giving you the sense or the semantic value of these words. When you learn the language for yourself, you can look for cognates in sister languages. You understand syntax, morphology, grammar, know what a clause is, a constituent is, you know, certain things such as tense, all right, verb stems, all of these things are important. So because whatever Bible translation you're reading, my brother, it was not written originally in English. So even if you're looking at the words you learn in English, you learn English from somewhere, from school. How do you trust what they're teaching you in school? How do you trust what they teach you in school? And if you go to a dictionary, Oxford, Cambridge, Webster, if you go to these dictionaries, my brother, they're also written by people that's giving you the understanding of those words. You do not live in a vacuum. So therefore, you must rely on other sources outside of yourself, outside of your book translation, in order to find out what things mean and understand the sense of things. So that's good. I'm glad you are critical, my brother, because I'm encouraging that. All right. And again, this is not an attack at you. I just want to address what you're saying and tell you these are people experts in the language for us to learn. Look, instead of us saying who's doing A, B, and C, how about you learn it? I can critique it to say anything is right or wrong with it. You must learn it first. So essentially, we have to put out our enemies in order for them to give us the understanding linguistically, because we didn't have the understanding before. I really ask you, what Bible translation do you read? That was translated your so-called enemy. Your Bible translation was created by your so-called enemy. So if the Bible that you're reading was translated by your so-called, that if you go with the King James version, oh, King James is black, he's an Israelite. Well, he didn't do nothing about slavery, but that's neither here nor there. He didn't even attempt to free his brothers and sisters, but that's neither here nor there, because we know slavery was abolished in the 1800s. So we're not even gonna go there. So what I'm simply saying is, if he was a black man and his translators were black, did you read the preface of the King James version of the Bible? Do you know what that preface says? That this is the best translation they could do at that time. But further translations will come, because you know they made revisions to the 1611 Bible. Did you know they made revisions to the King James Bible? The same translators, they made revisions. You know what a revision is? They looked at something and said, wait, that wasn't right. And they revised it. So are you trusting them? Are you trusting who taught you English? Who taught you English? Don't tell me English was the first language. Please don't say that. Please don't say English was our language. English is the language of your colonizer. Spanish is the language of your colonizer. French is the language of your colonizer. That's what I'm saying. So tell me where you're learning the original language at. So if you know they made revisions, how can you trust it? Do you have the 1611? That was revised several times. How can you trust it? Matter of fact, if you want to know everything there is to know about the King James version of the Bible, let me give you a great source on the screen, my brother. I just want you to read it. And again, I'm not contending with you, my brother. I'm just responding to what you're saying. I speak passionately. That's why it's coming off like this. All right. Now check this out. Boom Shakalaka said, when did Christ tell people to make an appointment? You know, actually, that's in the scriptures. He had people hold off until another time in order to speak with him. You know, that's in the scriptures. Matter of fact, he made an appointment with Nicodemus to meet him at night. So let's stop right there. John chapter 3. I'm going to stop. Let's stop. He had a one-on-one appointment with Nicodemus at night. Go to John chapter 3. Anything you say, there's a response to. All right. So look, check it. Let me go back. Let me show you a source, my brother. This is why I say learn everything first before critiquing. If you don't like something or don't trust or don't understand, learn about it first and then critique it. Because you know what it is. You know its weak points, its vulnerabilities, and then you can critique it. All right. I learned that being an IT security compliance analyst. I learned that being an IT solutions engineer. I learned that by doing all types of integration, engineering support, etc. You have to learn the architecture of a system before you can critique it. Because otherwise, how do you know that it's good or bad unless you understand how it works? In the scriptures, that which is good or tov is good because it's functional. That which is ra or bad or evil is bad or evil because it's dysfunctional. Good is that which is functional. Bad is that which is dysfunctional. So, boom shakalaka, you must repent, okay? Because I just told you that Nicodemus had an appointment with Christ at night in John chapter 3. You're done. So we're going to sit you off to the side, sis. All right? If you keep distracting, you're going to be put in the timeout corner, okay? And the mods are going to handle you, all right? Shout out to my sister, 916 Shan in the building. And the sister, Shan, she can attest linguistically how we're breaking these things down as well, okay? All right, so look, Raphael, look, slayed them. Same thing, Sister Shan. Y'all are the same page. Look at that. Yes, there's an appointed time. There's an appointed time. So, brother, I'm going to give you the source on the King James Bible. When you read this source, it's hundreds of pages long. Take your time, commit yourself to reading it, and you will understand every nook and cranny there is to know about the history of the King James Bible, the translation itself, errors within the text. Did you know in the 1611 Bible there's errors? Blatant errors in the 1611 Bible. It's there. And I'm going to give you the source, all right? Hold on. You're going to have to see my face again. Let me bring up the source for the brother real quick. We always take time to teach the people. It's okay. Some people may get frustrated and say, Divine, man, you interrupted your flow, but people got to learn. And sometimes you got to understand a lot of people that come in here and critique and bash and they don't have any other ways of actually learning. So they always come back here. Right. So I take time to teach them because no matter how much they may hate me, despise me, critique what I do, they're here because they're getting something of value here. Otherwise, they're wasting their time. Maybe their time is not valued. Maybe they have nothing better to do but watch my face on a TV screen. I don't know. Maybe it's an obsession of some kind. I don't know. I have no clue because these haters are here every Freestyle Friday. Every Freestyle Friday. Man. Oh, okay. All right. So let me go ahead and get the source for y'all real quick. All right. Let me pull it up. All right. All right. And this text is 676 pages. All right. Just for the record, my brother. All right. And I'm going to show it to you. And again, if you need it, just email me kingdomharbinger@gmail.com and I'll share it. Anybody else? This is also on the Patreon. Again, why I encourage y'all to join the Patreon because I have all these sources. This source goes in and out on the language of the text of the translation, the translator itself, errors, doublets, revisions, the history of behind the translate. It gets into everything in 676 pages. Here it is. Let me share it with y'all real quick so you can see it. Okay. Let me pull it up on the screen. All right, here you go. All right, this is the source here. Let me zoom in. It's called King James Onlyism, a New Sect by James D. Price. Okay. It's 676 pages. It goes into all of this stuff. Look at this. The introduction. The King James Only doctrine is a new idea. Original languages was authoritative for Baptists, the General Association of regular Baptist churches, Baptist Bible Fellowship, blah, blah, blah. Original languages was authoritative for Presbyterians. It was authoritative for Lutherans. It was authoritative for the Evangelical Free Church of America, etc., etc., etc. Now let's go down. Chapter 1, early English versions were incomplete until Wycliffe. All right. Translating is an ancient tradition. Bible translations before Wycliffe were incomplete. Did you know the King James translators leverage Tyndale's work, which leverage Wycliffe's work. Did you know that there's a pedigree in regards to the translation? Are you trusting all these pedigrees? Do you also trust Wycliffe and Tyndale as well? Because you know a lot of that was utilized. Do you trust the Texas Receptors as well to be authoritative in regard to be a manuscript that we should trust, even though it's a concoction of different Greek manuscript translations? Are you telling me that all of that's authoritative, my brother? Are you telling me that the translation that you have does not require any real study, but that you can simply just pick it up, read it, and get the understanding? Is that what you're conveying? If you're saying that, my brother, if you're saying that, I don't know what you mean by that, my brother. You say, yet our community barks the most. That's crazy how people from the One West Strand don't have this understanding, yet our community barks the most. Well, the name of your avatar is One West Defense, so you're going to defend One West. I'm not here to tear down One West because I have tons of brothers in One West that I build with all the time. Good brothers. I don't tear down one. One West has its role, but what we're doing here also has its role. It needs to be respected. But in this book, all right, the table of contents in the 676-page book. Again, let me zoom in. I think it might be too small. Let me zoom in some more. Okay, let me know if y'all can see it now. All right. Some insist on the Texas Receptors underlying the King James Version. The book discusses problems of the King James only view, early English translations. It goes into Tyndale, Wycliffe. It goes into Tyndale's translation, which was revised 7 times, a sample of the Great Bible. The Geneva Bible was a revision of the Tyndale Bible. If you don't know this stuff, my brother, then you know nothing about the King James Version. And I'm not saying that to nullify your understanding of your culture, the scriptures, your spirituality. I'm simply saying there's a whole history behind this that most people do not study and don't understand. The qualifications of the translators. Do you know the qualification of the translators? If you do, let me know right now. I'll give a moment. If you want the link, I'll drop you the link and you can tell me the translators, what their qualifications were. Matter of fact, read me the preface. Post the preface of the King James Version in the chat, and I'll give you a prize, my brother. Post it and read it. Because obviously the translators understood the translator they gave you was not complete. It was the best they could do at the time. That's what they said, which means at some later time, there has to be some advancement. That's why there's revisions. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So I take time to study this. So when I talk, I'm not just speaking my opinion. I'm giving you the history, the sense, the understanding, the background, everything you need topographically, so you can understand from the top down what is going on in that which you believe to be true. That's all I'm saying. So if you don't know that, my brother, you need this book. Email me, kingdomharbinger@gmail.com, and I will send it to you. Because if you don't know this, how are you trusting a version that you don't even know the preface for? You don't know the qualification of the translators. You don't know the translators themselves. You don't know about all the revisions and why they made revisions. You're not looking at any of this. What about the manuscripts, the Texas Receptors? Do you know what that manuscript is and how it came about? They used that to translate their Greek version. That's their Greek version used to translate into English. Do you know how that manuscript came about? Very unnaturally. But again, if you don't understand that, you have to do some further research. So that's why I said, first take time to understand a matter before speaking on it. You can't simply reject something because you don't understand it and think by the rejection that you've made some kind of point or assertion. Any assertion has to be substantiated in order for it to be validated as a claim. So if you're going to come in here and tell me, do we need this? Do we need that? Just like we see the sister boom shakalaka. Well, Christ this and Christ that. She didn't repent about the appointment. I showed her that Christ made an appointment with Nicodemus. He did. He made a whole appointment with him, one-on-one. We have appointed feast days. That's an appointment with Yah. The Sabbath is also an appointment with Yah. These are appointed times. Okay. All right. All right. Shalom, shalom. All right. Hey, y'all, what's up? My brother, chill. Don't put none of that out there. I want the brother to read. And I'm saying to y'all right now, if you are part of this channel and you subscribe to what we teach, you will be a bibliophile. We're going to teach you to read. And you know what somebody's going to say? Well, what about Ecclesiastic? It says the making of many books is weariness. Whoa, slow down. I'm not making no books here. I'm reading books. It's different. Man, this is crazy. So family, look, I'm just here to educate you. People are mad because I'm simply just educating. I'm not telling you my opinion. I'm just educating. But if anybody wants to know the history of the King James Version, and because people will say all the time, you going off, because you leaving the King James Version. I say, whoa, I'm not going off. My brother One West, I understand. I got you. I'm not going off. I'm simply trying to show you why we need more than just the King James Version of the Bible to understand or have a foundation in what it is that we stand on. That's all I'm saying. Because what will happen is you'll meet an atheist that knows this and tear your whole faith apart. Tear your whole faith apart. Sever that anchor that was holding you well, and then you be drifting off into the horizon somewhere in waves that are beating you back and forth. That's what happens. That's why I teach you and train you with these tools. So no matter who you encounter for any walk of life, you know how to handle them. That's all. Shout out to Yakub Shaul in the building. All right. Mark Benjamin said they mad because their dogmas are fallen. Nobody wants their dogmas to be attacked. You know why? Because up until this point, it gave them purpose. All I want to do is give you a foundation so you can springboard into your spirituality. Let's put dogmas aside. We're going to kill it to death. We got a whole series coming out. Sign up for the Patreon to get that. All right. So I'm going to stop off. Let me get back to where I was at, and then I'm going to take on anybody that has any grievances like we always do. No problem with that. All right. The theology of the trend. Do you know the Church of England? Do you know all the tenets of faith of the Church of England? Matter of fact, my brother, One West, please type in all the tenets of faith of the Church of England. I want you to see you lay out their theological framework so you understand why certain passages and clauses was in the original language was translated the way it was. Please just lay them out, my brother. All right. No problem, my brother. Just lay it out. Lay out the tenets of faith of the Church of England. I'll just wait. Just lay it out right there in the chat. And then we'll move forward. All right. You see that? Page 84, the translation was carefully edited. The translation exhibits literary excellence. The first printing was in 1611, sampled in 1611. And guess what? The KJV was revised at Cambridge in 1629, 1630. Do you know why these things were revised? Can I give you a 1611 and 1629, and can you tell me what was revised and why? If it's revised by the same translation authority, that means it's not perfect. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's all I'm saying. That's it. And again, my brother, I'm not telling you to leave One West. That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to enhance wherever you're at by giving you tools, methodology, and sources. I'm trying to give you the understanding so you can do with that as you wish. That's why I'm open to give you these sources. I'm not keeping it close to the chest. It's for you, my brother. Read it. And when you come back, my brother, share with us what you've learned. When we have our open forum sessions, come on and say, yo, Divine, I read that. Man, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I went back and told my brothers in One West. Now we're stronger in our movement because now when people come to the camp and they try to challenge you on these things, we can answer. The scripture says to give an answer to any man that asks for the hope in you with fear and trembling. Now you can give an answer, an apologia for anything that comes in your direction. That's all I'm doing, my brother. I'm equipping you to be better at what you're doing. That's it. Iron sharpening iron. And if you discover something in the process of researching this, share it with me because I need to learn too. All right. All right. And I'll show you the shout out to Frontline Judah in the building. Shalom. I see you. All right. And I'll show y'all the cover again if you want. But again, there's so much stuff this goes in. Look at this. 1629, 1638, 1653, and then 1762. Look at this. The KJV was unsuccessfully revised in 1653, and there's a reason for that and why it took almost 111 years for it to be revised again. Did you know that even your 1611 that you think you have is really not the revision that you think it is? That's different. 24,000 changes were made. Can you list for me all the 24,000 changes that were made in the subsequent revisions? Dejo, you like that, right? Getting high with the Most High. That was an excellent article. And by the way, it's on the Patreon. All right. But anyway, shout out to Benita Sutton. Thank you for joining us. Shalom. Again, family, hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up. Share this video. Everybody in our community needs to be watching so they can study like this. This is not just divine. Anybody can study like this. I give you everything you need to study independent of me. Just let me get through it. That's all. I'm saying just bear with me. Okay? Like I said, this book right here is a game changer for anybody that subscribes to the King James. You need to understand these things. Because if I was an atheist and I went to a camp, I will use everything in here to tear down the entire foundation of the KJV. The camp will look really bad. I think, I'm on y'all side. And I'm giving y'all this so you could be prepared if somebody comes and presents this to you. Instead of avoiding it, yelling over them, going to another precept, you can simply say, oh, I know what you're talking about. The reason why it was revised because of A, B, and C. This, and that. Some of them are just nuances, not major changes to doctrine. You can go into that. That's it. That's all. No, my brother, One West, you're good. Divine just speaks with passion. Don't feel offended by what I'm saying, my brother. I love you. That's all. Just email me. Email me. I'll send it to you, and then we can go from there. All right. All right. So let's get back to our lesson. Let's go back to our lesson. Bring it back on the screen. All right. And I'm going to refrain from any more questions until we're done. Okay. Let me just get through this first. And again, if you want this software for anybody that's not familiar with the language, not familiar with the culture, the manners and customs, the history, I have all those sources available on the Patreon. And if you don't have the Patreon and you can't pledge, that's okay. Just email me anything that I reference here and I will send it to you. Okay. So it says here, we went into trees. We broke down trees using the exegetical guide. We went to the dictionary, biblical languages with semantic domains, Hebrew, Old Testament. One of my favorite lexicons. I use 5 lexicons when I study. This is one of my favorite. Okay. And then it says, while he was sitting at the entrance of his tent in the heat of the day. And again, you see here the morphology of how it looks, the syntax and how it works together to create a sentence. And then the parsings right here, which is the type, when we say type of speech, we look at to see how it functions in the text. Everything is here for you to look at right here. They're all keyed. Like, for example, this is a noun, common masculine singular construct. It relies on another noun, and it's not the lexical value of the word. All right. You'll learn that when you start learning the language, all right? The construct form and what that looks like. All right. Morphology is identifying what something looks like to understand and identify what it is. All right. All right, look, let me go back to full screen so you can see it better. All right, there we go. All right. So let's keep reading. I'm going to show you some stuff in here, okay? And it says, Abraham looked up and saw 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he hurried from the entrance of his tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground, okay? He said, if I have found favor in your eyes, my Lord, do not pass your servant by. Let a little water be brought, and then you may all wash your feet and rest under this tree. Let me get you something to eat. You can be refreshed. Again, the key thing is looking at the verb that we have here. This is in the Cal imperative, second person masculine plural. He's talking to an audience in the second person you, because you could be singular you or plural you. The masculine, we tell that because we see the suffix on the noun and it's reference to who he's talking about. And then it's an imperative. He's giving them almost like a command. And he's being imperative, saying, so you can be refreshed. Let me give you something to eat so you can be refreshed. Simple cow. The cow is a simple active voice, simple action. So you can be refreshed. If he wanted to enhance it, he'd do it in the PL stem. You'll see the diacritic mark shift and change in the PL stem, the doubling of what's called the second radical root, which gives you the identification of looking at the PL stem. But we can get into that another time. Again, I only teach the language now holistically within the context of understanding the culture, customs, mannerism, history, neighboring cultures, topography, geography, fauna, flora, etc. So just bear with me. I got y'all. Take you on this roller coaster ride. You're going to enjoy it. All right. So Kemetic Hebrew. No, I was asking One West defense for the tenets of faith of the Church of England. All right. Because that is the representation of their theological worldview going into it's the interpretative lens that they have going into the text. The interpretative lens. That's why you see the word Easter in the Bible. Doesn't belong there. The text doesn't say Easter. Pascal doesn't mean Easter. It was superimposed onto there because of the Church of England's disposition, and that's why. Okay. All right. So you can be refreshed and then go on your way. Okay. And again, when we do our classes, I'll go more further into the language. I'll take my time. And again, when we do our tests, our classes, not our tests, because y'all be giving tests when we do it. I'm only going to take one passage at a time because there's so much information in one passage that goes over your head. And I'm about to point some of them out. So much information in there. That's why I say you don't need commentary. You study the way the commentators study and they're able to write their commentaries, right? Again, in no wise am I saying by taking this class, are you going to be an expert or advanced? because I'm not even an expert at advanced. I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet. And I'm humble enough to admit that. However, I'm going to save you a lot of time that I took almost 8 years to do to get to this point. It took me 8, 9 years to get to this point. And I'm saving you, condensing so much time for you, so that way you can be where I'm at and go further. That's the goal. All right. Then go on your way now that you have come to your servant, right? The word ebed is servant, right? The word abad, which means to serve, ebed is the verbal noun that's derived from the root abad, which means serve, ebed. But here we see there is some variation based on the diacritic marks, but the root value, which is ayin beit dalet, right? Ebed, servant, right? And in some contexts, people say slaves. It depends on how much of your social status that you maintain while you're working and while you're not working for the person who you're under. Typically, if you're in a domain of somebody, that man who is over the house, he's referenced as Baal. We see that in Devarim, where it talks about the law against adultery, right? Baal is a master over a household, the head of household. That's another cultural nugget. Take care another time. So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah. Quick, he said, get 3 seahs of the finest flour and knead it and bake some bread. Remember, we saw the ESV say cakes, okay? Then he ran to the herd and selected a choice tender calf and gave it to a servant who hurried to prepare it. He then brought some curds and milk and the calf that had been prepared and set these before the men. While they ate, he stood near them under a tree. Now, the NET says, let's go to 18. I don't know why I wasn't at 18. Here we go, 18. And it says, the Lord appeared to Abraham by the oaks of Mamre while he was sitting at the entrance to his tent during the hottest time of the day. That's key. Abraham looked up and saw 3 men standing across from him. When he saw them, he ran from the entrance of the tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground. He said, my Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, do not pass by and leave your servant. Let a little water be brought to that, so that you may all wash your feet and rest under the tree. And let me get a bit of food so that you may refresh yourselves, since you have passed by your servant's home. After that, you may be on your way. All right, they replied, you may do as you say. So he hurried into the tent and said to Sarah, quick, take 3 measures of fine flour, knead it, and make bread. Then Abraham ran to the herd and chose a fine tender calf and gave it to a servant who quickly prepared it. Abraham then took some curds and milk along with the calf that had been prepared and placed the food before them. While they ate, he was standing near them under a tree. Now, let's look at the information that's here. I'm just gonna use the NET, and I want to break some things down for you guys, contextually speaking, right? Let me break it down. Let me make sure y'all can still see it. All right. So it says, Yod He Hav Wav He appeared to Abraham by the oaks of Mamre. Now, if you look at the ancient Near Eastern cultures, when you are by certain trees, you can receive a appearance from deities. All right. Just like if you go to the top of a mountain, you can actually speak to deities. This is why ziggurats was created. All right, which actually has a flattened top where they typically create an altar or some kind of temple item so they can commune with the deity. The higher you are up, the closer you are to the gods or the Elohim, right? The divine council, right? But here we see a visitation by the oaks of Mamre, because again, this is something that was common in the ancient Near East, all right? While he was sitting at the entrance to his tent during the hottest time of day, and let us stop there. The question you ask is, why are they pointing out the oaks of Mamre? Remember, I told you, they are actually looking at the attributes of the tree and not the species of tree. It is because the oaks of Mamre, or this type of tree, is very big and provides a lot of shade. Now, I'm going to give you some books to read so you can understand how I'm breaking this down a little bit further if you want some more fine detail. For those of you who are meticulous, right? So the tent, whenever there's a tent during this time of the day, right, you are never sitting inside your tent. You will bake. The book that I mentioned to y'all is called The Bedouin Culture in the Bible. I'm going to show it to you in 1 second. This guy lived X amount of years with Bedouin tribes in the land of Israel, near the Negev. And by living with them, he saw that they maintained thousands of years of customs, manners, and practices that go back to the patriarchs. And he understood why they did not sit in the tent. So typically your tents were made out of goat skin and goat hair. Okay. Goat skin and goat hair was good because it can repel water, and sometimes it may allow some form of cooling to pass through it, depending upon how the skin is prepared. Okay, but most of the time the tent is black. You remember in Song of Solomon where it says the tents of Kedar, I am black and comely like the tents of Kedar. Well, in Kedar, in that region, Bedouin lived there. They take the skin of goats, which is typically black, and what happens is when it rains, the skin repels the rain so they don't get wet. But then after the rain is over, when the sun shines on it, it glistens. She was likening her skin to the tents of Kedar and how it glistens after a sun shower or rain. Okay, so you never sit inside your tent during the hottest time of the day. You sit at the entrance. Now, why do you sit at the entrance? Well, typically you'll have the patriarch of the tribe who will sit at the crossroads of where strangers would pass by. He will sit at the front of the tent. However, he can't just sit in the front of the tent without no kind of shade because he will bake and he will possibly die. So therefore, he sits under an enormous tree that gives plenty of shade. That's why you see him sitting in front of his tent by this tree that is providing him shade. The hottest time of the day allows you to have the most horizontal vision. So you can see very far down because everything is primely illuminated. So the chief patriarch always is able to sit in the front of the tent because he doesn't have to be active. He has another role in the community. And in this case, when you're rich, you can afford to sit down and chill in the middle of the day. If you're not rich, you got to work during that time of the day. You know what I'm saying? So these are details that are hidden there. All right. It's there when you study the culture, the customs, and the mannerisms of the people. All right. So hopefully that made sense. All right. The next passage says, Abraham looked up and saw 3 men standing across from him. And when he saw them, he ran from the entrance of the tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground. Now, why did he do this? Well, in ancient times, they didn't have cars. They didn't have airplanes. Most people walked miles. Okay. Very rare that somebody can afford a camel, a horse, or a mule or donkey. Some people could afford them. Some people can't afford them. And some people purchase them, but it takes time to learn how to use it, right? Just like getting a driver's license. So most people walked everywhere. Now imagine you walking. And again, in ancient times, the way they think and perceive things was much different than we do. So they understood that these men were walking a distance to get to them, okay? That means their feet is going to be tired. They're going to have grit, sand, dirt, whatever in their feet. Their muscles may be sore. They may be hot. They may be dehydrated. So what you do is when you're sitting at the entrance of your tent and you see strangers, your job is to go toward them and show homage, pay homage, because you don't know who this could be a diplomat. This could be a prophet. This could be anybody, a priest, whoever. That's why they always paid homage to strangers. You see a reference in this in the book of Hebrews as well, where it tells you never to forget to entertain strangers. For some of them could be angels in disguise. What do you think the author of Hebrews is getting that from? Right here. Genesis chapter 18. Okay. All right. So now looking at this, he went and bowed low to pay homage, which is respect, which anybody would do when they see a stranger, because again, you don't know who that is. This was customary. So they went and bowed low and he entreated of them. He showed hospitality. Okay. Verse 3 says, he said, my Lord. And again, that's how they showed reverence for a entity that was greater in authority than them. Okay. If I have found favor in your sight, do not pass by and leave your servant. Here's the thing. Let a little water be brought so that you may all wash your feet. Remember, I told you the feet washing? Some Christians think that feet washing started in the New Testament. And I had to go here and I said, no. Feet washing was a custom, man. That was something they was already doing. But when they don't read the Old Testament or the Tanakh or the Hebrew Bible or the Chumash, Torah, they don't understand what's going on, right? Let me bring some water to wash your feet and rest under the tree to get shade for a little bit. And let me get a bit of food so that you may refresh yourself, since you what? Have passed by your servant's home After that, you may be on your way. All right, they replied, you may do as you say. So him getting water to wash their feet, bringing water for them to drink, and bringing a small morsel of bread, food, or whatever, was the hospitality that they showed strangers that passed by their encampment. This was customary, okay? So understanding that, this is what's going on there. You don't have to interpret it based on what you think it means. There's enough information out there to show you actually what's going on. You see all this information that I'm showing you guys just in a small text here. Shout out to Jabbar Yisrael. Thank you, my brother, for the donation. I greatly appreciate that. This is stuff that you learn in seminary. This is stuff that you learn in theology school. This is stuff that you learn in other higher institutes of education, and I'm giving it to you for free game. And I'm going to show you the sources in 1 second. Once we get through this passage, I'm going to give you all the sources on top of this Bible study tool so you can do all of this for yourself, okay? So this is what you typically get. So when you are anticipating that the stranger is just passing through, you give them some water to wash their feet. You have them sit and refresh themselves under a tree with shade, okay? You bring them water to drink and also fill up any canteens, quote unquote, ancient canteen that they would have that would maybe made out of goat skin or something else so they can drink it on their routes. And then you also bring them a small morsel of food just to refresh themselves so they can keep on with their journey. However, if you want to entreat them to stay, then what you typically do is you make them cakes of bread out of fine flour. Now, production of flour during that time took hours to do. It wasn't something you could just go, hey, y'all chill right there. Yeah, chill right there, right? I'm going to go right to the store down the street. I'm going to get some bread. I'll be right back. That's not what happened. It took them hours to prepare the food. Then you go and you slay a calf without spot, without blemish, the choice calf. And you give it to your servant, and then he prepares the meat. That takes hours. You can't just get something from the store and pop it in the microwave. They didn't have microwaves. They didn't have grocery stores. So please understand, even though the text is saying hurriedly, quickly, this was not a quick process, and they could not hurry to prepare these things from scratch. It's impossible. It took hours to do it. So since he saw that these strangers decided that they were going to stay, at some point, he switched up what he was doing. He went and he said, okay, he hurried to the tent. Hey, make 3 measures of fine flour kneaded and make bread. Because maybe he was just saying that to capture their attention, but he had some kind of epiphany on who they were or something was special about them. So he says, no, I want them to stay with me, right? I want to spend more time with these individuals. It says, so take 3 measures of fine flour, knead it, make bread. Then Abraham ran to the herd and chose a fine tender calf and gave it to a servant who prepared it quickly. Abraham then took what? Curds and milk. What's curds? That would be a modern day cheese. Curds and milk, because sometimes they were not by a water source. In those ancient times, your 3 major water sources was a well, was a cistern, or was a spring. Those are your 3 major sources of water. If you did not have that, you relied upon goat's milk. And if you had cattle and could afford that, then you would use cow milk. But it was substitutionary for water. That means wherever they were at, even though he had some water, he didn't want to expense all his water, so he substituted some of it for milk. And at that time, milk was a source of magnesium, calcium, etc., but it wasn't processed milk. It was straight milk. However, they didn't drink milk every day, okay? So again, he took curds, which is your cheese. He took some milk, and he brought some meat to them and gave it before them. Now, remember, you'll read in Torah, right? Anytime you read in Torah, the statute, laws, and commandments, you can see it being applied in Bereshit or Genesis. Now, you remember that scripture that talks about don't boil your kid in its mother's milk? Don't boil a kid in its mother's milk. That's a custom. Abraham is showing you a little bit. Some glimpses of it is here, right here. But that's for another time. We'll say that for another time. All right. So they ate while he was standing near them under a tree. So typically, when you give food to the guests, you sit down and eat with them. They didn't have tables that we have today. So they sat on the ground. They laid out a mat. They sat on the ground. They had the food in the middle. They didn't use utensils. They used the bread to sop up food. They use your bread. You manipulate the bread as a utensil in how you eat. Okay. And this would have been a filling meal, which means they could not get up after this and walk. You had to take some time to allow it to digest, which gave the host time to speak to the guest or the stranger. Okay. Now, I say all that to say, let me show you some sources for this. Okay. I'm gonna give you some sources. Shout out to Cam2 Player. All right. Let me give you some sources for this. All right. Here's some sources. All right. 2 good sources to understand the food element of what we read there in the text. This one here is called What Did the Ancient Israelites Eat? Diet in Biblical Times by Nathan McDonald. This is a short read. It's only 210 pages. All right. It's not long. All right. But there's a passage in here where they actually address what I just read to you and give you insight into what I just read to you. Okay. It goes into food shortage and salmon and tells you the animals and how the animals lived. And there's also a book that I have on there called The Taboo of the Pig. And it goes into how the pig is identified in the ancient Near Eastern context. Very fascinating. But this book here will give you additional sense into what we need to know. It also goes into nutritional deficiencies of certain diets that they had at that time, which will show you why certain people were sick, why certain people got leprosy, because of poor immune systems. It goes heavy. It goes deep. But I got to stay at the surface because if not, we'll be here all night. All right. Some people enjoy it. Some people say, oh, Divine, your lives are too long. I understand. All right. Here's another book here. It's called We Think What We Eat, Neo-Structuralist Analysis of Israelite Food Rules and Other Cultural and Textual Practices by Seth D. Kooning. All right. An excellent read. It goes into that as well. This is excellent. Israelite food rules revisited, purity and danger, deciphering a meal, self-evidence, the forbidden animals in Leviticus, Milgram and the diet laws, the semiotics of food in the Bible, nature and culture, the Lord's table, cows, pigs, wars, and witches, rethinking Israelite food rules, and the logic of sacrifice. Excellent book. All right. Now, also, the book that I referred to you earlier, and I'm going to show it to you. Again, we give you all of these things as we're going through our studies in our classes so you can follow along and you can contribute to the dialogue. It should never be a soliloquy. It should always be a collaborative dialogue that we all contribute to together and we learn holistically. I'm telling you, once you learn the scriptures from a cultural vantage point, it erases a lot of division. I'm telling you, it does. This book is called Bedouin Culture in the Bible by Clinton Bailey. Excellent resource. Okay. It goes into some of the things that we talked about as far as the customs and manners. Another book here is called Manners and Customs of the Bible by James N. Freeman. Again, goes into the customs and manners of hospitality and treating strangers, bowing down before strangers, washing their feet, making them bread and curds of cheese and milk, and why that's the case and all of this. So there's really no mysteries in the Bible. People think there's all these mysteries. It's not mysteries. It's because we lack sufficient data to interpret the passage. Now, when I say there's no mysteries, what I mean is if you take a certain approach, you can work them out, right? Some things people say, oh, that needs divine revelation. Yeah, some things do need divine inspiration and revelation. It does. But when you have a foundation, you work cooperatively with the Spirit and you can get the additional insight. But you have to have a foundation first before the Spirit can work through you to give you the understanding. The purpose of the Spirit is to give you the spirituality of a thing, how to manifest the abstract into the concrete environment that you live, which is called actualization. Okay? Hit 1 if you're following me. Hit 1 if you're following me. All right? Shout out to Brother One West Defense. He says, where did you start your understanding? Believe it or not, my understanding started while I was in Christianity. Okay? It started while I was in Christianity. However, once I weaned off of Christianity, because a lot of times in the church I was in, they did not really thoroughly encourage studying paradigms outside the Bible, right? So I weaned away from that. I was into Messianic Judaism or the Hebrew roots movement. From there, I started to go into all of the sects within the so-called Black conscious community. So I went to the temple, the masjid of Black Muslims. I went to the Moorish Temple of America. I went to the Nation of Islam mosque. I went to Kemetic temples. All right. I went to lectures. I went to debates. I did all of that for 2 years, studying that, looking into that, until I revisited the Israelite paradigm, because I encountered Israelites as a Christian and debated them. Right. But then I said, maybe they have some validation in regards to their premise, not the way they come off. And I studied the premise and I was able to authenticate it. And that resonated with me, and I rock with it ever since. So if you want to start learning these things in our classes, we give you the methodology. You start with an inquiry, a problem question. Like I just showed you a quick one. Why does one translation say trees? Why does one say oaks? Well, oak is a type of tree, but how come this translation didn't just translate it as tree? Well, look up what the terebinth is. What is a terebinth? You have to understand what that is and why it's important to the narrative. Nothing is there by accident. You just gloss over it. So what I do is I give tools and I give resources, etc., on how to study, and wherever the Most High takes you with that study is on you. I'm not here to tell you how to walk out this life. I can give you some suggestions, advice, some counsel, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to give you an idea of what may be relevant to your decision-making process, but I will never make the decision for you. That's not my job. That's your job. All right. So One West Defense, my brother, if you want some of these resources, I will send it to you. If you want to learn about the King James Version of the Bible translation, I will send that to you. And anybody else that needs it, I have it here for you guys. Shout out to Kohen Gadol in the building. All right. So that way I can strengthen your foundation. That's all Divine is doing. And why is Divine taking the academic approach when it comes to learning the scriptures? It's because we are thousands of years displaced from the authors of the text. And because we are 1,000 years displaced, we do not understand the environment in which they lived to know why they make references to certain things. And I say this all the time. I stand behind it and I'll say it again. And I have several books on this if you want to read it. You cannot understand prophecy if you do not understand culture. Theology is structured as a construct based on the environmental culture of the people who is putting forth the prophecy, because they're using certain elements in their environment and making attributions to it. My brother, One West Defense, the number to reach me is scrolling there at the bottom of the screen. You can call my team Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can schedule an appointment and I can talk with you one-on-one, my brother. And anything I can help you out with, I will. All right. So L Hope Gary says he is breaking down the verse about Abraham. Is the KJV wrong? No. I'm not saying the KJV is wrong. All I'm simply saying is the KJV is dated. And we have more tools available today to go back and research further into what the KJV has translated. In certain places, you see the KJV still holds up. In certain places, it just doesn't. And why doesn't it hold up? We provide you with the tools to do that investigation if you so will to. All right. All right. So Lifted. No, I don't have any videos of that yet. Yes, I have an understanding of the Congo. Matter of fact, if you sign up for my Patreon, the sources that I'm bringing up there mention Congo and Luango, and we're going to bring in more information about that. The Bantu explosion migration, all right, it came from a place called Lokoja, all right, that is there in Nigeria, and then it expanded from there. It is not a homogeneous group of individuals. It is heterogeneous tribes, which means they were all distinct, that start to speak the same language family, all right? And they migrated together and then splintered off. I taught this, I think 2 years ago. I went into detail about that, all right? One West Defense here. You might have a billion questions. My time is limited to 30 minutes to an hour, well, hour. So we could talk for an hour, but anything else that you may want to know, just continue to watch these channels and ask questions here or join our classes. When we do our classes, there's no interruptions by trolls. Our classes is troll free. You know why? Because the trolls are not going to pay no money to get into these classes. Well, you know what? They might pay the money. And that's another reason why I attached a figure to the classes, is to discourage trolls for jumping in and disrupting the flow. Okay. All right. Kohen Gadol. Yes. My subscription is according to the text. It says Yahweh, Yod He Wav He. appeared to Abraham, and it spoke to Abraham. Yahweh himself, a manifestation of Yahweh. He's the avatar of El Elyon. I did a whole lecture series on that, Kohen Gadol. It's called El Shaddai, Yod Hey Wafe, El Elyon, three of a kind or one and the same. One of my mods can drop those 4 videos in the chat, and you can go and watch that series where I address that as well. All right. Okay, family. So I see that Law of Gardening is not here, so he's not trolling no more. Thank y'all. We are troll free. Let me do the giveaway and close out this session because people are going to complain tomorrow that, oh, this is 3 hours long, but then tell me they just did a whole back-to-back watching of a TV series on Netflix and Amazon. Okay. And you're wondering why you can't increase in the depth of knowledge. I tell people all the time, Divine, you too deep. Well, I'm not deep. I'm digging wells. Why am I digging wells? It's so that way when it rains, whenever the rains come, whenever there's inspiration or whatever the case may be comes, I'm creating a deep well to capture all of that so that the times when there's famines, I can always pull from the reservoir of the well in which I have dug. That is what we're doing here, teaching you how to dig wells and fill them because the famine will come. Will you be prepared for it? Can you be sustained through it? That is what we want to give you. Stacks is actually a 4-part series. It's 4 parts, Stacks. All right. So he says, last question, and I'm going to get to anytime on West Defense. I'm here to help you out, my brother. All right. Anybody. I'm willing to teach whoever. It doesn't matter. Even the trolls. All right. Radiant. Yes, the class will be live and recorded. So if you're a $20 pledge or more on Patreon, you get access to the class and you get the recording. If you're paying a la carte outside of the Patreon, let's say you only want to do 3 classes, which is like $120, then you can pay that either upfront or pay it per class a la carte. And you also get access to the recording as well. All right. And it will be limited. That means you can only get it with the email address that you use to access it, because we don't want this strewn all over the place, because now the trolls will get access to it and it will nullify what we're trying to build. Okay. But if you're willing to invest a little bit more money into your study, sign up for our Patreon, right? If the stuff that I just shared with you, which is just, again, this is just scratching the surface of what we're doing in our classes. If you like this depth of study and want the resources, the tools, and methodology to go through it yourself, we want to equip you with that. All right. Show us that you're serious about your education and the truth. We want to see that. All right. All right. So, so my stance is I love my brothers that are Tanakh only, Torah only. I love them. I love them. I build with them all the time. You know why? I don't have to talk about the New Testament with them. I could just hang out in what's called the Old Testament, Tanakh or Torah. Wherever they want to go, I can hang with them. Wherever they want to go. Oral tradition, let's do it. Let's go into the Talmud. Targums is going to the Targums. All right. Torah is going to the Torah. What the sages say and the rabbis is going to that. Wherever they want to go, we can go there. That's all. So I love those brothers and those sisters. And the way that I show them my perspective in the Brit Hadashah is through the Tanakh. I don't work my way from the end to the beginning. I build a profile. I did a whole video live stream on this. If you're interested, right? It's called Tanakh Only Brothers. Response to Tanakh Only Brothers, where I show you my approach that I take, where I build a case, and then they follow me through the case. And it's a way to get them to reflect and see, you know, especially if they know about Midrash. We talk about Midrash and I show them and I explain things to them. I show the historicity of this individual called Yeshua Bar Yosef. And I show how he was in opposition with his halakha from the halakha of his day. All right. Which was predicated upon Second Temple Judaism. Rabbinic Judaism did not come about until after the destruction of the temple in 70 CE. All right. All right. So Ernest Higgs says, when do the classes begin? That is the question. I wanted to start it earlier this year, but I had a son and I started working and started building up KHM. So I didn't have time to launch the classes yet, but they will come soon. If you want a heads up on it, you must sign up for the Patreon because they will find out about it first. And then I will make it public on our YouTube channel in the community tab. So that way, if you want to sign up for the classes a la carte, you can do so. But the best thing is if you get the Patreon at just $20, you get it for half off. Otherwise, you pay the full price, which is $40 a month for the classes. So we do at least 2 classes per month, and the classes is 2 hours. Well, you see what I just did? We just go into the text just like that. We read from the sources, we use the tools, we learn some of the language, the customs, you learn about fauna and flora, the environment, diet. You know, we learn about sister cultures that existed during that time, what's going on in history at the time. We go into everything. It's a holistic research paradigm. All right. All right. All right. So let me transition. I see what you're saying, One West. And yeah, you got a good point there. But let me transition. All right. Now I'm going to ask 3 questions based on what I just went through with you. And we have 3 sets. Thank you to the Super Chat contributors. On Tuesday, we are giving 3 tableware sets to families out there so that way you can give this to your children. All right. Now, the first question I'm going to go into is, what was the nuance in the book of Genesis chapter 18 when we came across the translation by both the ESV, the NIV, and the NET? What word that I said was nuanced that we had to go back and look up? What was that word? If you tell me what that word is, post it in the chat and you will win a prize. All right, I'm gonna give you a few minutes to do that before we go. What word did we look up in the DBL, the lexicon? What word did we look up in the lexicon? That there were different translations of it in the NIV and the ESV. What word was it? Let's see who gets it first. Yaqub Shaul, I will, but not right now. I'll do it another time. Catch me live again and I can do it. Yes, Sister Radiant One, you got it. She beat everybody else to it. You're absolutely correct. Sis, email me, kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. You actually got 2 gifts. She won a gift at the Raleigh chapter and she just won another gift now. That's a bad sister right there. She paid attention. And yes, Gavin, Comedic Keeper, and Ernest Higgs, you got it as well. All right, cool. All right. So let's transition from that. All right. Now, the next question is, tell me which translation is a formal equivalency translation and which translation is a dynamic equivalency translation. All right. I mentioned that while we was going into it. Tell me which of the translations that I shared with you falls into dynamic, I'm getting tongue-tied. Formal equivalency translation and dynamic equivalency translation. Try saying that 10 times fast. Tongue twister. All right. Let me know which one is which. All right. Which one is formal and which one is dynamic? Let's see who gets that. Thank y'all for congratulating the sister. All right. No, that's not right. Radiant almost had it. Right. Which one is formal and right? Which one is dynamic? Sister Radiant One, I need you to sit out this one, sis. You're going to be taking everything. Ice You Code, he got it. You got it. Ice You Code got it. So Ice You Code, you want a gift? Email me, kingdomharbinger@gmail.com, my brother, and I will give you the gift, okay? All right. You got to be quick with this. You heard my brother Stacks. He said you need Twitter fingers on this, right? All right. Here's the last one and the last giveaway, okay? And Ice You Radiant One, you cannot answer this question. You already got it, all right? Now, what is a formal equivalency translation and what is a dynamic equivalency translation? I have a lot of other questions I could ask you based on the study we just did, but I'm just going to stick it there. Give me a short summary, very, very short summary. What is a formal equivalency translation and what is a dynamic equivalency translation? All right, I broke it down very simply. Let's see who is paying attention. Stacks, I did see Kemetic Hebrew, but he specified which is which. That's why. Wait. Oh, hold on. Oh, Okay, I'm back. All right, waiting on y'all, family. So tell me, very, very short summary. What is a formal equivalency translation and what is a equivalency translation? Gavin is okay. At the last time we always do giveaways here. So please tune in to our next week's Freestyle Friday, another giveaway on there. Okay. Yeah, Kub Shaul, you're right. And I hear you. So ask me on the next live and I'll give you what I can, okay? Donnell Jones, you got it. That's it. So some of y'all in here probably never heard of these things before, and it's okay. Let me get this to focus back again if it will focus. I guess it just wants to sit out of focus now. There we go. All right. All right. So a lot of y'all had learned some stuff tonight that you didn't know before, and that is what we are contributing to the collective consciousness of the Israelite community. We want to be able to fill a gap that I previously did not see before, and I asked Yah for it, and he told me I'm going to do it. And so I don't ask him for stuff no more because he makes me do it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I hope that what we shared was conducive to your studies. And I hope you guys are eager to sign up for our classes so we can teach you how to do more independent of just me. And we will continue to leave a legacy behind so we can better interpret the text based on the pedigree that we come from. Okay? By going back into time and seeing how they saw things, thinking how they think, so that you can better interpret the scriptures. And once you have proper interpretation, you can have a better application. All right. And for those of you, go back and check out the lecture I did on meditation. It's called Meditation by the Book. So you can get an example of what cultural orientation is and why it's necessary. I just gave you a sample of cultural orientation so you can understand what is going on in the text. You don't have to rush through it. You don't have to gloss over it, because typically what people do is they rush over those parts and jump right into the theological discussion. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. You can't get a context for the theological discussion without understanding the culture, customs, and manners. All right. Okay. So with that being said, to all those who won their gifts, email me so that way we can get them out to you. Thank you, everybody, for watching this channel. Hopefully you guys have a great Shabbat. Enjoy your Shabbat. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the winners who won. Thank you for my day ones who are here. Thank you for new visitors. Make sure everybody hits the thumbs up. Share this video everywhere, because other people in our community need to learn how to better study the text, because a lot of people will fall out of favor and lose interest and very wear off. And all we're trying to do is bring those brothers and sisters back and say, look, the reason why you feel this way is because you have not really dived into the text. Let me show you how to dig a deep well, how to fill it. So when those times of famine come, where you have no inspiration, you're going through something, you have a whole reservoir to pull from. That's what we want to provide to you. All right. We love you, family. Thank you, my brother Aishu Coach. So y'all click on that link. Check out that video as well. Let that be your message for this Shabbat. And so to you who are now watching on the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Thank you, everybody who just gave your donations to us in Super Chat, Cash App, and who just recently signed up for the Patreon. All the money you give and invest in this ministry goes back to giving you something. So we thank you for that. All right. Look forward to seeing you in the next live stream. I love you, family. And I'll see you again. Peace and shalom.